All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest edition of Stoop Talk Podcast, man. My name is Lance, BCE. I am the host for today, and I am here with the usual suspects. Starting to my left, we got the one and only DJ Active. What's up?
It's good, guys. Being healthy.
Being healthy?
Right.
Okay.
With all that candy and
Yeah, you see him.
over there.
But this in my cup is not liquor. It's healthy stuff.
What is it?
What's that?
Strawberry banana is healthy.
Strawberry banana what?
Anyways, Chase.
Oh,
Look, this nigga said that.
Chase, what's going on, brother?
I'm sorry. They throwing me off. I had, all right. Excuse me. You know how people talk. Excuse me. I had a little bit of drink. You know.
And he want to talk about there's no liquor in that
I was about
cup.
to say, you said-
No, I was drinking earlier though.
Oh, so you're not really healthy.
That's why I'm drinking healthy stuff now.
So
Any-
he's doing it. He's
Chase,
doing,
how you doing, man?
he's doing it for YouTube
I
right now.
don't know what's going on with Activision and his juices.
Yeah, I don't know either, son. I'm chilling.
I've been
though.
juicing.
You chilling?
Yeah, I'm chilling,
Juicy,
man.
juicy.
All right. Next up, we got a Phresh in the building. What's going on, Phresh?
Man, you know, I'm chilling, cooling, there.
Dibbling, dabbling? You know, I'm always gonna say that.
Yeah,
I like
why
that.
you always say that?
Because he said that in the initial episode. And I
You
like
know that nigga weird,
Pause.
son.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dibbling,
Oh,
dabbling.
he trying to say he walked Frazier when he would razzle dazzle, like when he say stuff like that, right? You walk Frazier? Walk Frazier? No? All right.
What did I say?
Nah, Lance is saying you said dibbling dabbling in the.
Yeah, but what that? How am I saying that I'm Walt Frazier because Lance is calling me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you sound like, forget it.
Anyways, Keds, what's up, Keds? What's going on, brother?
Chilling, man, chilling.
So you got on red and yellow, so I'm disappointed because maybe we're not gonna get the Incredible Hulk, the green. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to that every week. You know what I'm saying? No.
I don't even get what you're saying. Go ahead, next.
Lance,
Man, I watch man. No,
But anyways, we got two special guests in the building today. The first guest is a dear friend of mine. Actually, it's a lot of history right now because I've known both of these young ladies from like 2008. We're in 2009 now, so it's like about 11 years.
We're in 2009.
We're in 2019.
19. So, y'all know what I'm at. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Rachie B, my homie, my sis, a dear friend of BCE, man. Rachie, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? Happy to be here.
Yes,
I'm proud
yes.
of y'all too.
Oh, thank you. Rachel.
Thank you.
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate
Who
that.
you proud of the most, Rachel?
Oh my God.
Why you gotta turn everything into a
No,
competition?
no. Matter of fact, do it. Say it. I know it's not Lance. That's why I want you to say it. So say it. Go ahead.
Actually, it would have been Lance. No
Oh.
offense.
He
no
made a
offense
lot of
to
improvements.
the
He
rest
said
of y'all,
would've been,
but
though.
No,
That would've been
be humble.
Lance.
Be humble.
Listen.
Look at him. You hype, right? Look, here's a cookie.
Active, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm proud of you all for different things.
Take a
though.
cookie. Yeah.
I'm proud of Lance for this. I'm proud of you,
Yeah, hit that
you too
gym,
for
Lance.
Christoph Christian. Big up Christoph Christian.
Thank you.
That's a
Appreciate it.
fact.
Proud of Naren right now, doing big moves, daddy things. You know, I'm proud of all y'all right now.
But yeah, thank you, Rachie, for being here. We really appreciate you. We're gonna talk a little bit more about what you got going on. I know you're a man, you're a woman of a lot of ambition, and you doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Making noise in these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Messing up.
But anyways, thank you, Rachel, for coming through. Our next special guest, she's another dear friend of BC. I've known Haley for like 11 years too, since 2008. I've known her when we used to like party together and all that. Well, Rachel too, we used to party together too. But
That was back when we was on campuses.
yeah,
promoting.
that's when she was in college,
Facts.
Staten Island. Can't remember the exact school you was going to. Right.
not that hard. Not that hard.
Yeah, it's just amazing just to see, everybody's growth, what we were before and then what we all manifested to be, So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Haley. Haley, you got a lot going on. So, just give us a little, brief, summary or bio what what you're doing,
Okay. All right. So I'll try to keep it short because we all know I could talk a lot.
Yeah. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Haley.
So my name is Haley Nolasco, and I'm the CEO and founder of Civically Engaged Incorporated, which is a community-based organization. It's a nonprofit organization, so we have our 501c3, so we can accept donations, everybody.
Nice.
But got to put the plug in.
Big facts.
But our mission primarily is just to work with communities so that they could, especially our communities, Black and brown communities, to make sure that we understand civics as power, because a lot of times we're not really engaged civically in our communities. And once we are more engaged, then we know that we can maneuver and manage a lot of more things and make things happen for us in a productive and positive way. And then at the core of that, because it's pretty much two-pronged. So one, working with community through education, amplification, and making sure that we all are abreast of the issues that concern us. And then really working with young women of color as well that have been adversely impacted by violence, just disproportionate effects that they're having in their everyday lives, the systemic oppression or whatever it is that they may be feeling. And bringing them into the fold so that their lived experiences could really influence civic engagement also, because I think a lot of youth organizations, and they do great work, but what I've realized is that there is some sort of a gap with young women particularly that have, they may be at risk at being a part of the justice system, or they're already in the justice system, and they're kind of like slighted or not really brought into the conversation. So it's just like, oh, I want to do youth work, but I want to do youth work with those kids, the good kids, and I don't like calling kids good kids or bad kids, but to like kind of ostracize young people, it's it isn't the best thing. So I want to really work with young people that have had those doors closed on them time and time again, let them know that they have a door and a place that they can be safe to be themselves with us as civically engaged. So that's a quick synopsis of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, one time for
and you said it real fast too. And you got your book out, even though you didn't read nothing from the book yet.
I was eating at the Mexican restaurant across. I'm like, let me get my talking points together.
You on some Lance? This is what Lance do, but he has the laptop. So shout out to you for that. Shout out to Haley.
We're gonna start off with just exactly what she was talking about with Haley. I'm gonna start off with her first, and then go to Rachel. Mm-hmm. But Haley, so you spoke about civically engaged, right? When was this formed? Actually, I know when it was formed, but I just want you to tell everybody when it was formed, and then how did you what made you?
Continue.
Go on.
Let's continue.
Anyways, they like laughing at me for some reason. Especially Phresh. It's this one here. Like he just like
he's like what? He's like, I'm not
he like when I'm trying to be
bro?
serious and I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Bro,
they
why?
love laughing at me. But it's alright though.
Why y'all always laughing at Lance?
Oh God,
Bro.
Yo, can you let him finish,
Go ahead,
bro?
Finish
Lance, I
This
feel
is
you,
a safe
son.
place, brother.
It's fun. I'll take the bullets. You know what I'm saying? I could be laughed at. It's alright. You want to laugh too active or no?
Son, what's up? I just kind of protect. Nah, fuck that.
Nah, you might.
Nah, keep on laughing,
But
bros.
anyways, yeah. So Haley, so let's talk to us about when it started, and then if there was a key point in your life that happened that made you want to start this. After you started working and whatnot. What made you want to do civically engaged?
I was trying to be short, so now I'm gonna talk a lot.
That's okay.
So Civically Engaged, so we're a brand new organization. We've actually just incorporated in 2018. I want to say in June, right before my 30th birthday. So shout out to everybody born in 1988.
It's a good birthday.
88,
gift.
the greats.
Good birthday. gift.
It's a good birthday. So pretty much, so I just always wanted to, I guess, philanthropy has always been something that's been very near and dear to my heart. But I've been working in this, I would want to say in this field for some time now. What really brought me into this work, I'd want to say, was me being a young person. So what I really like to say is that I know, I don't want to say I'm the best person to work with young people, but I understand what young people are dealing with because I was that young person once. So when I'm saying I want the kids that are really dealing with issues in their lives, like I really want to work with them kids. I remember I was working in a high school at one time, and they were like, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing programs for youth with risk factors. Could you help me identify some young people that need the additional resource? And the social worker was like, which kids do you want? These kids? And I'm like, the ones that are giving you like the most trouble, I guess. Like, let me speak to them. She's like, are you sure? And then I remember, so I'm going back because this is the first girls group I ever did. And then she brought like about 20 something girls into the library. And once they walked in, this one girl had a head tie and she was like, Miss, you got 5 minutes of my time. Because I don't know why they brought me in here, but you got 5 minutes. I was like, well, I only need 2. By the end of the conversation, I was telling them about my life, and which I'll get to in a second, and what brought me to start that group with them. By the end, like they all rushed to do the application. And I just thought that was a beautiful thing because at first they were so unhappy to be like, why did I get selected to be a part of this? And they were also excited after hearing my story and just like really building with them and letting them know that you are me and I am you sort of situation from a place that's credible, but a place that's like, I'm not judging you, was really dope. So I ended up, out of those 20 something girls, I was able to take in 20 of them to start girls programming, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, if I could do this for another organization, why can't I have my own organization and do this? So when I was younger, I was gang involved. Whoopsie. Those are some good candies too. So when I was younger, I was gang involved. I want to say like, 13, when you're 13 years old or whatever, that's what everybody does, like their recruitment or whatever. So it's like a typical story. You meet a boy, you get involved, and I was going through some things in my life personally. I had lost my grandmother on vacation. So my grandmother was my primary caregiver, and she went on vacation and she just never came back. And like I kind of like spiraled out of control after that. And, was fighting a lot, didn't feel understood. And the only place I found solace and acceptance and belonging was in, in this gang that I was in. I hate like saying gang too, but being a part of that, there was good and bad. So I learned loyalty. I learned, how to really be there for people. But at the same time, I was fighting a lot, and I was like failing out of school. And at some point, I had to take the long way home, and not because I'm a coward or anything, but also because I'm not stupid, So there's a difference in talking with young people. Like there's a difference between being a coward, and I'm using a euphemism, obviously, and being stupid. So there were times where I could never go on Flatbush Junction, like to go home. Like I would have to definitely take a long way. I had a brick thrown at my head before, and then like somebody took me out of the way. And it's funny that I mentioned that because recently somebody was like, all right, but were you shot at? Right?
Did you die?
But did you die?
Though?
And I was like, well, and I don't want to invalidate anybody's experience, but yeah, I wasn't shot at, thank God, or anything like that. But to have been chased down a block by like about 40 people that were not trying to have anything good for you at that time, and somebody picked up a huge brick with the intention of hitting me with it, and if it wasn't that somebody took me out of the way, I could have been a vegetable. I could have been dead. So many people that have been killed with a brick or with the, and again, not to invalidate anybody's experience, but for me, that was my changing moment where I was just like, I can't live like this no more. So I was like about 16 at that time. So it changed my life, and I was really lucky to have
Flatbush Junction.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it was hard for me to like go that way.
Really?
Yeah, it was hard for me.
What
Yeah.
do you mean, really, bro?
That's
where
was not
Any-
listening.
The
And I-
3 train, the 4 train, you get everybody
And it's
coming
almost,
up
yeah,
over
and
there,
it's also
bro.
like any
It's
junction
not the 4
too.
train.
So
4 train on stop at the junction?
no, the
Which
2 and the
green
5.
one?
The
It's
2
the
and the 5.
5. Okay.
2 and the 5, the
The green
44, a
ones.
few buses, but almost every high school congregates there. Any place where high schools.
I never felt like Flatbush Junction was dangerous. Well, for me, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no.
Well, yeah,
For me.
because you're you. Continue, Haley.
But that's just bringing things into perspective because I'm just coming from a transparent and honest place. So
Right.
understanding that fear, like I can't go certain places. Like I understand that. So when a young person's coming to me saying like I'm involved with this or I need help with this, like the last thing you ever want to tell a young person is like, oh, you should leave your crew or your gang or whatever you're a part of because you're gonna lose them immediately. So that's not my goal. Is to not come and be like, you have to drop this, you have to do this. It's just like, no, how can we really work together to get the positives out of what you're experiencing, but really put you in a better space? Because with you might be coming out for one thing, but you might not necessarily be acting in the most positive manner. And then hopefully within time, then maybe that separation or whatever that could look like can happen. Right. But that's definitely not what I lead with. So just coming again from that point where it's just like I've had a lot of experiences as a young person, and I can't be your mother yet because that'd be can't be your mother, but I could be your older sister or your aunt or your cousin. So it's still from a relevant place. So that's pretty much what led me to want to do this. Just the different experiences and doing this sort of work, and then my lived experiences from when I was a young person.
Well said. Well said. I actually do have another question for you. When we're talking about civically engaged, right? So you did say, you mentioned the whole, giving back, to the community, giving back to, the younger generation, philanthropy work, right? So civically engaged, are there members to that organization? So explain, so let's talk more about like how it's constructed, if you don't mind, in terms of what specifically, you've done in the past. Even I know what you've done in the past, and what's the plan going to be like, for the future? What type of events you do?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so I was leaving that for that, but cool, I got it. All right, so so there's 3. So staff wise, so again, we are a brand new organization, y'all. So capacity building is something we're really working on. So I'm the executive director and founder, and then my friend and colleague Angela Aris is my director of operations, and then my friend Catherine White is also she's my director of development. So together we've been working on putting events together, creating curriculums for our youth because we are working on having workshops starting soon. Shout out to Brookdale Hospital. We're working with them to do some community-based programming. So having that together and some of the events that we've done. So although we just started, we had a gala over the summer where I was able to raise money.
Yeah, I missed that one. That was when I was in Atlanta. I was so upset.
But you still donated, so I
did.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I wanted to be there so
All
bad.
right,
I had my
Lance,
suit ready to go.
donating. Yeah,
But it's
I
okay.
like
Most
that.
of you guys were at our last event, so you were able to see one of the young girls that we were able to give the scholarship to. So it's cool. So you get to see where, because we're really trying to be really intentional about the work we're doing again. So it's just like everything raised definitely just goes directly to the organization and to young people. So we were able to raise 2 scholarships for 2 young women that, oddly enough, never met each other a day in their lives, and they ended up going to the same school.
Ain't that crazy?
Nice.
That's crazy, SUNY New Delhi. And the scholarship, I wanted to really do something that came full circle because public safety, again, is a really big thing for me. So just think it's gun violence and everything. My best friend, she had lost her brother to gun violence, I want to say almost 2 years ago. Time flies. And I really wanted to do something to show her that I love her and her family because they're like amazing. So I put the scholarship in her brother's name. So it was the Chad Baldeo scholarship.
Nice.
That's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was really beautiful to see that come together. And one of the girls that we gave the scholarship to, she was like, oh my God, like my aunt knows him and she grew up with him. So it was just like really nice to see that being paid forward. And they both got scholarships over $1,000. So
Nice.
I'm happy to see that. And I try to like still keep in touch and to bring them on. So like to bring them to like different events, or if they need any help, like I told them, they could always reach out to me, whether it's for mentorship, if they want to like help the young people once we start our groups, if they want to do some peer-to-peer workshops, like the door's always open. So that was really cool. Most recently, I have a weird thing with like words and language. So I was just like, I want to throw a networking event, right? Because I really want people in community to start to speak to one another. But I think networking is such a jargony whack word because I feel like it's superficial. So it's like, oh, I'm going to a network event, and networking is just like, what can you do for me and what can I do for you, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I really that just feels weird to me. So even though it's kind of like the same thing because in essence you are networking, I wanted to call it a community empowerment mixer because I really want everybody to like really be mindful of language, because what we're supposed to be doing is making genuine connections and empowering one another,
Right.
in whatever it is that we do. You could do
keep us
X
To help
exactly.
each other.
To uplift and build our community, because if you're doing one thing and you're doing another thing, we might think we're working in silos. So we might think, oh, if you're a construction worker and you're a nurse, we can't work together. Absolutely. There's many ways that we can still like work together, even though we're in different spaces.
Right.
It's just like, what could that connection potentially look like?
Right.
Right. So I'm just thinking about, and it's like everyday people, because another thing is the work that I do, outside of civically engaged in itself, but like working in city government, working in all these different spaces, it's just like a lot of times you see the same people, you know, and it's just like, and it's amazing, it's beautiful, because you really do need people that are committed to their communities. But it's like we need people that aren't technically always going to these events to really get the information also. So I thought that having these community empowerment mixers, at least quarterly for now, would be a dope way to like bring everybody together. And then we have our next event on this Saturday, actually. So there is, when we're talking about civic engagement.
This isn't going to be aired by Saturday.
Oh man.
But
Okay. Well,
you can mention anyway.
So I'm still gonna post about it, but there is gonna be a political forum this Saturday for anybody that's living in the 45th district area. So that's like your East Flatbush, Flatlands, Marine Park sort of area.
Not to cut you off. Do you have anything after that? You could shut that out.
Not as of yet, but we're working on it. We're putting a few things together, especially with like learning about judges. So we're having that come up soon because I don't really think people know who they do. Does anybody around the table, and we could be honest, like, have you ever known about a judge that you voted for, or do you just go down the line where it says Democrat? Or if you're a Democrat, or if you're whatever it is.
I actually didn't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say you don't vote, or you
No,
didn't?
I didn't vote.
You
You're not
didn't
my
vote.
friend no more.
So look what happened
Lance,
anyway.
did you know who you voted for?
So you trying to equate that to me not voting at all?
No,
Wait. Hold on. Who did you vote for?
Democrat.
Who? Like the owl? Who?
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. So
no,
I mean,
no,
you
you
say you're not
worse
my
than
friend
me.
no more. So who did you vote for?
I voted for a Democrat.
Who?
Haley, you could continue.
But it's actually good that we bring that up because it just
It
shows.
is great that we bring that up. It's great to see that Lance don't know who he voted for. He just know it was a Democrat.
And this
got
is
the
why
sticker.
we
Got
have
the
to
sticker
work.
and
We got
posted it.
He did.
You little bitch.
But activate
Continue, Haley.
Wait,
Please.
how does turn on me?
Y'all go on left.
Hello, y'all should be directing that negative energy towards
We should be
active.
directing it towards active, but we're gonna work. We're gonna work on it. There's work to do
I
around the
don't-
table. That's
I'm
all. That's
keeping
all.
it real. Because sometimes, all right, sometimes because they're Democrat, that don't mean that you have
Not
to
all
agree.
skin folk is kinfolk. I get it.
You know what I'm
Plus,
saying?
there
Yeah.
can be multiple Democrats. So
Yeah,
which one is the best one?
exactly. And he don't know. He just know he voted for a Democrat.
I
Because
I can't remember.
That's
Can't
sad.
remember. So you plead in the fifth.
That's sad.
After
I
he fucking
voted, though.
pled
At least
guilty.
At least I know what's going on.
So what hurts
you
more,
Just
voting randomly
So,
or
so
not
I
voting
want
at
to
all?
pose a question then. If you know what's going on, so was that the basis of why you didn't vote?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and we were talking
understandable.
about okay, all right. So what I would say,
It's some stuff that I just don't agree with. So I just didn't vote.
okay, I can understand. And so for myself, I just always think that there's a lot of power and still like voting when somebody's like, what can I do to be more civically engaged? Like one of the things the first thing
You
you do
can
is
still
being
do
able to
stuff
vote.
and not vote though.
Yeah, but then when you don't vote, it puts you in a dangerous position because when
Why?
you don't vote, somebody else that doesn't think like you will vote. And then
All
what that person votes for, their agenda will continue and yours won't.
It's fair to say that everybody at this table didn't vote for Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, I didn't vote for that.
I don't know anybody
right.
else's, but I know I didn't.
Right? It's fair
But
to
what's
say that,
crazy
right?
is I know somebody that did as a joke.
What?
I do
All right.
too.
Are you kidding?
I do too,
Yes,
actually. I do.
know somebody
All right.
that voted for Donald Trump as a joke.
And
And it's like, yo, it's
all right,
Because he
really
probably
not
thought
a
he would
joke.
never
let me
win.
tell you about me. Let me tell you about me.
All right, real quick.
The Donald Trump situation. I knew that he was gonna lose in New York City, so I wouldn't even vote for him in New York City because he was gonna lose. That's how I feel about it. I would go to like places like Delaware and vote, or Virginia, where he could possibly win. You know what I'm saying? And go vote. That's how I think. Because
But that's and not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but and that's
No, go
that's
ahead.
kind of I would want to say that's kind of, but it's dangerous because I think a lot of people, and I would say like New York, all right, fine, it's a safer state. We know that it would typically it goes blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
With depending, but still, what if so many other people thought the same way, and then New York did vote red? Like there's other states that did, right? And there's also other people who were like, Hillary Clinton's gonna win, so I'm not gonna vote for Donald Trump, and I'm not gonna vote for Hillary Clinton because I don't like either one of them.
Right.
And then what did we end up with? This misogynistic.
I mean, he lost.
worst of the
He
worst.
still lost New York.
Racist.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, even if I didn't agree with Hillary, I'm not gonna vote for her either. I'm just not gonna vote. That's just me.
But I would say it. The one thing is that
But
we are in a.
I probably would vote for Hillary because I don't like Donald.
In that particular election, though, that was like picking the lesser of two
Yeah,
evils.
the lesser two evils.
So even though you assume,
And the world wasn't ready for a
Yeah, but
female.
even though that-
president
even
either,
though
so
that-
I
I
knew
think
she was
that's a
losing.
bigger conversation that we can. Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I-
I don't agree.
This whole voting
I
thing's gonna
honestly
be a
thought that's
whole
why
separate
she
topic we're
lost.
gonna have
I
then.
think that people are afraid of change, bro.
People are afraid of change.
And it was hard for Obama to get in. So now we had Obama. Now we're gonna let a female.
But the
people
thing
thinking
is-
like, nah, we
but
can't
you
have
see
that right now.
the
You know what
logic
I'm
that
saying?
Haley is using with that is that saying people didn't think that she was gonna lose, right?
I thought she was gonna
in
lose.
that right, and even if you thought she was gonna lose, you didn't think Donald was gonna win either. So in that
mean, who
situation,
else
let me
was
tell
gonna
you
win?
who thought, oh, Hillary's gonna win. So I don't gotta vote in, the primaries when Bernie Sanders was still going. They probably figured, she gonna win, so I'm not gonna vote at all.
I'ma just
Bernie
wait.
Then
Sanders
Bernie could have
disappointed
won.
me.
Why
He disappointed
Why
me.
he disappointed you?
Because I didn't feel like he didn't have enough backing, and I felt
he
like
had a huge backing.
not
He
like
had
Hillary.
a huge back. Well, okay,
Not
so
like
this is a
Hillary.
different conversation because when you think about it with the DNC and everything, that was kind of that Hillary stole that from Bernie. Bernie was supposed to be the right candidate, but
That's what
the
I'm trying to
Democratic,
say. He didn't go as hard to me.
he went hard. He was slighted. And that's just a fact of the matter. Like when you're thinking about and this is the problem with Democrats. The problem is that you're always going to put who's going to win in front of saying like, no, we really need to think who's best for the party to move
Right.
forward and who's really going to push the agenda forward. We're just going to be like, we're going to continue the safe thing.
That's really
and that's that
politics for
politics
you.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're just saying like, no, we're going to play safe. We're going to do this. And then look what we ended up, we have this orange Cheeto in the office now. Like, it's just like, it's ridiculous.
Yo,
And
did
we're-
you vote for Bernie? Did you vote for Bernie?
Yeah.
I see what you did there, Kev.
No, I'm just asking.
I see what you did there.
Nah, I was really just asking.
But
But I'm just saying, just
I
bringing it
voted,
back.
for, I
What did he
voted for
do?
Bernie too.
What he did.
no, nothing. You just want to make sure that you voted for Bernie. But continue, Haley.
No,
We're
he
gonna
just
wrap
wanted to make sure. He just asked a question because
Yeah,
he generally wanted
I
to know.
really just want to know.
Why
He
you
didn't-
being so aggressive?
Because you
Because
trying to
you
make
feel
a
like
joke.
there was some, there was something under that.
Yeah.
Alright, bro.
You don't got to stoop talk touch me, bro.
Oh man.
The stoop touch.
Haley, you just finish up.
No, so all I would say, the only reason why
No man, no, we're not running
We'll
with
get to
that.
Rachel.
Oh my
Don't
God.
stoop touch me, bro.
Yeah, those two touch. I'm just thinking it just brings this conversation full circle when we're just really talking about like the importance of civic engagement. And even if voting is like the low, and I don't call it low hanging fruit, but at the same time, it is the easiest way of exercising your civic engagement,
involved.
right? So it's like getting involved or understanding or making informed decisions. And when we make decisions, like, and I understand that voting for lesser of two evils, and like I don't like either one of these people, but it's important. I'm sorry. It's just important to really understand the lay of the land, because a lot of people will think like, oh, I'm not going to vote because I know this person's not going to lose, so I'm going to sit this out. And then you're putting the onus on somebody else. And who's to know what somebody else is going to think of? And there's a lot of people that I was great friends with. And for me, and I'm very plainly like, and this is like aside from my organization because we're not political in a sense, just my views. I cannot associate. I have a hard time. I can speak with somebody that has Republican ideologies, right? I can have a conversation with you. But if you're a Trump supporter, that's a completely different conversation because you stand for a lot of things that I'm not down with. So when I'm seeing like friends of mine like that I knew like voted for Donald Trump, I'm like, this is out of control. So it's just like if I don't vote, these are the people that actually went out and voted for like somebody that stands for anything else that who my own being.
You know, for that, even if you didn't vote, it still start with the little people. It still start with doing stuff for your community, because you could go vote for the right person and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So no matter who you vote for, you still got to do stuff for your community.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
And get together and do stuff with other people, like you said. You know what I'm saying? So even if Trump is in office, that don't mean that you
We
stop
can't do our
doing.
part.
Yeah, like you can't do our part. You know what I'm saying? So
If anything, do our part more now
you
than
do
ever.
our part more now than ever. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel. Like, you know, I feel like people just feel like, oh, we got, like when we had Obama, like we don't need to do nothing. Yes, you still do.
Nah, you still
you
gotta
still
pick up
needed
your
to do
part.
stuff
You
in
gotta play your
Chicago.
part.
You
Should've
still
did
need
more,
to do
actually.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still need to do stuff, period. No matter who's in office. You know what I'm saying?
And also because
and
we're
people
putting
get
people-
lazy.
And because
My-
I think a lot of people put the onus on people that are elected officials to just do the work. So it's like, I voted for you. I think you kind of believe the same things I believe, so I'm going to just let you do it. Not understanding that you really have to hold people's foot to the fire. If I'm voting for you, that means essentially my tax dollars are paying your salary, which means that you, in the most layman terms, you work for me.
I'm investing in you.
I'm investing in you, and I need to
playing
hold you
games?
accountable. I have to hold you accountable. You said you were gonna do this for our community. Okay, great. I'm gonna go to your meetings. I'm gonna see what you're voting on. I'm gonna see what bills you're creating. And also, when like participatory budgeting happens, I'm gonna make sure that I'm there too, because I want to be able to play a role in like where money is going in my community, what schools are getting funding, what roads are getting fixed. You know, like this. There's so much out there that we don't really like see all the time or know that's happening. And that's why I'm just saying that it's just unfortunate that a lot of times you're just seeing the same people around the table. And that's why I'm hoping with Civically Engaged to kind of bring that, like kind of change that dynamic and really bringing us everyday people that I'm like, we might not be the most articulate when it comes to the political world, right? But we're going to understand our issues that impact us the best, and we're going to try, that impact us, and try to do what we can together as a community to hold ourselves accountable too, to do our part.
Well said, well said. So that's the full circle of Civically Engaged, is to get everybody involved. So I appreciate that, Haley. You guys have any questions for Haley specifically Engaged, or we could move on to Rachel?
No, we'll move on for
Okay.
now. And then,
And you're still young, because I don't like what you. I know you born in '88. Don't say, "Oh, young." We're still young. Okay.
She said
We
that.
are young.
She said
No,
I didn't say when I said
she
the
said
88.
she's a young person.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you was.
I'm just saying, big
Oh,
up to the
okay.
great 88s. That's all.
All right, because I don't want to,
We are.
But
young.
anyway,
I
right.
got a few
Yes.
gray hairs, but I'm still young.
No, you see,
That's wisdom, though. No, I have.
for me it's stress.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
see
dye my
me
hair every
with a
3
gray
months.
hair.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
It's hereditary, though.
If you see me with a gray hair, it's stress.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just hereditary.
You're
I'm
just
putting
saying
it
you're
at that
not
point.
wise.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, when you're dealing with. No,
All right,
Curry.
all right. So Rachel, you are up next.
Oh.
Boy.
So Rachel, it's funny. This is actually, it's funny how I have both of you guys here,
I was just thinking that.
including
It's
including
funny, like
with
Human
us.
Planet.
because like no, I say that because all of us started a few years ago giving back to the community, right, with several things, like Haley with Civically Engagement, you with Fundraise with Love, Us with the the BC toy drive that we do.
Right.
So I think it's
Don't mess up her organization, bro.
who's
Simply
organized?
Engagement. It's on her shirt.
I said Simply Engagement.
Yes.
Did I say that?
Civically engaged.
Civically engaged. Sorry.
Jesus.
I didn't realize. But
He don't be thinking.
Anyways,
Every episode, he messes up
It's all right.
somebody's title. So.
but anyways, I just appreciate.
You just
the
started. I
fact
don't
that-
like it. Pineapples. I don't like it.
You know what? I need to take control of this the soundboard.
I don't know what to do with it.
But like I was saying before, I was trying to make a serious comment. Everything is just coming like full circle, like I said, because like we're all like evolved now. We're all literally laying the the groundwork and doing the footwork of pushing back and giving back to the community, right? Which I think is very, very important, especially for the youth growing up, right? Because like I said, we vote for these leaders, but sometimes the leaders don't do as much as they could to contribute to the benefit of the kids or us in the community, right? So we gotta sometimes be leaders in our own right and do what we can do to create some type of change, or to create hope or whatever the case
In
may
the-
be.
in our
Whatever the goal
community?
is. Within our community, that's right.
I said that, but all right.
All
I'm
right.
saying it in a different way though.
Okay.
But I said that.
All right.
Leave Lance alone. man.
Anyways, so Rachel.
I just want to shut it up because what I'm saying, like, we got time. We on time.
Yeah. So Rachel, so talk to me about how you started out with your fundraising event. You started a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
At first you started doing fashion shows for to give back to the where you're from Haiti,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then this year, so I
Souls?
noticed you did a change. And you shift that focus for the fundraiser to be towards, gun violence, right? So just give the whole breakdown of how it started and how it, multiplied into what you did from the fashion show towards Haiti and then what it is now. And give us a breakdown of
Absolutely. So literally a few years ago, after the 2016 hurricane in Haiti, I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking like, damn, like I feel so helpless. Nobody's really doing anything to help. And although, my family's from Haiti, I know me personally, I haven't been there since I was like 3 years old. And I still feel helpless. Like, what can I do to help? Because the devastation and destruction that I would see happening over there, it was just, I felt like, there has to be something I can do. And I randomly just picked up the phone, called two of my girls, like, listen, what can we do to raise money? Because there's a school out in Haiti that after the hurricane, we saw pictures, the school was completely destroyed. The kids had nowhere to go. The roof of the school was torn apart. The walls of the school were torn apart. And we're just like, these kids have nowhere to go. And I love the kids. I know BC love the kids.
Yeah, BC love the kids too, man.
I love the kids. So we're thinking, what is something that we can do that will appeal to
the masses,
like our community, something that will make people come out and something that will raise money and raise awareness about this. So, we came up with the fashion show. Our first year, 2017 was our first fashion show. We didn't know, like, this was just a small idea that we came up with. We didn't know that we were going to raise as much money as we did. And we completely helped rebuild that school. We were able to give this organization $5,000 and completely help rebuild that school.
I love hearing stories like this.
It was like, and that was a defining moment for us. Like, yo, we can really make this a thing. We can really
change.
do something.
Yeah.
So what we do is every year, that year, that was the cause that like spoke to our hearts. Last year, I was thinking about like, what are we going to do? Who are we going to give back to this year? And I was thinking about like domestic violence survivors. And how, a lot of them wind up homeless and circumstances outside of their control. And there's not much awareness about that. And so we found this organization. Actually, one of our friends works for this organization called Our Periods Matter. And they cater to homeless women and girls. And they provide sanitary napkins and all sanitary supplies and things of that nature to them. So we're like, boom, this is going to be our beneficiary for our second fundraiser. So again, last year we just put this together. A lot of people came out and we were able to give them a few $1,000s as well. Nice. They have pack parties. So they had a pack party following our donation, and they were able to provide hundreds of homeless women in New York, Florida, and Atlanta with all of these supplies. So big up to them for that. So now this year we're thinking gun violence. Like right off the bat, as soon as we sat down, like, who are we giving our money to this year? we're looking at the news and all the different stories we're hearing of senseless, and when I'm telling you senseless acts of gun violence, like it's heartbreaking the amount of stories that we see with our young Black males being killed for no reason.
Right.
And me raising a young Black male,
Right.
that shit really hurts my heart.
Right.
And like no mother wants to get that phone call. And this is what happened.
Or father.
Or father.
Right.
No mother or father.
I
I'm
just-
sorry, I
I
didn't mean
just-
to exclude you.
Yeah, and
Like no parent
right.
wants to receive that phone call.
Right.
So a year and a half ago, one of my colleagues received that phone call that her nephew was gunned down senselessly. And that watching what her family went through, he was his mother's only son. And watching what his family went through broke my heart
It's
completely.
New York?
It was in Brooklyn. It was in October of 2017 in Brooklyn. So just watching how that whole story unfolded, he had a baby on the way. That little girl never got to meet her dad. Like that has to be the most heartbreaking thing as a mom, to have to tell your daughter that daddy's not here.
Right.
So so this year's fundraiser is actually going towards, his name was Melquan Jatel Anderson, and they started a scholarship similar to your story. His mom started a scholarship fund in his name because what he used to do, he had already graduated from college and he was helping young men obtain their GED, young men who did not finish school obtain their GED. So just the fact that a young man so positive himself was gunned down, he was trying to be a mentor to other young men. It really called to our spirits to like help this scholarship fund out. So the Melquan Jatel Anderson Scholarship Fund is for students not with the perfect GPA. It's actually the opposite. It's for students with a 2.0 or lower GPA. Those are the students that we feel get overlooked. Those are the students who may get discouraged and want to drop out. And I feel like one of the main ways to combat gun violence is to get these kids off the streets.
Yeah.
These kids need to be in school. Those kids who feel like, I can't afford it, or I'm not smart enough for this, I can't keep my grades up to be in school. We want to reach out to those kids in particular. So that's why this year it really called to us to contribute to this scholarship fund. And the Melquan Jatel Anderson scholarship is for CUNY students. So if y'all know anybody that, may need a scholarship, it's need-based. And again, 2.0 GPA or lower, it's a scholarship at an emergency fund. So the emergency fund, they can give you the money if you have a death in the family and you need to travel, or if you can't work because of an injury or something of that nature. If you are late on your utility bills, things of that nature, they help out with all of that. So that's where the money from this year's fundraiser is going to go.
And could you tell everybody where the fundraiser is going to be?
So
and
the
what type of
fundraiser
event
is
it
going to be on May 11th in Brooklyn at the Elite Space, 1236 Utica Avenue. It's a fashion show fundraiser, and the reason why we like doing fashion shows is because we feel like this is a way to get people to come out. Like a lot of people, and it's unfortunate, a lot of people, when they hear the cause and hear what's going on, they may not necessarily want to come out. Oh, that's going to be boring, or whatever the case may be. We want to have an engaging event, but also a way to get our message out there. So it's a fashion show event. We're going to have the family of Melquan at the event, speaking about him, his legacy, and about the scholarship. And another reason we like doing these events is we like to support our Black businesses. So we reach out to different vendors. We reach out to up and coming artists. We have a couple of artists, painters who are going to come and display their work. We have some singers, some dancers, and we have a lot of cool vendors, clothing vendors, arts and craft vendors. We have a lot of dope people coming out for this show.
That's nice. It's
So
real dope.
I'm really excited.
And that's what I was saying before. It starts with us. You know what I'm saying? It starts with
it's the
little people. It could come. You've been doing it for what, 3 years
3
now?
years. And that's really what we want people to see. Like, we are just three girls that really, we're working, we're struggling ourselves. But if we can make this much of an impact on these organizations and give back this,
that's what I'm saying.
Anybody can really get up and do this.
Right.
Yeah, and then Rachel's story kind of touches me too, because it's like, me personally, I don't have kids, right? But I don't know. I have a special spot in my heart for kids. You know what I'm saying? Because why are you laughing, kids?
Continue.
Anyways, yeah, I have a special spot in my heart for kids because I think it starts with them, And if especially with the schools, with the neighborhood, in terms of what we could do to get them engaged, so it doesn't end up in gun violence, so it doesn't end up in fights or disagreements. So I think that's where it starts, where you have a whole bunch of different hoods, and these kids beefing with blocks or beefing with different hoods. If you get all these kids together in a way where they're having fun, or they're engaging in a way where it's conducive and it's positive, I think that's where we can really do change. If us as in the people of the community, we put together different types of events, do different things to where we can cater to these kids and get them going in the right path. So I think what you're doing is very, very important.
And I gotta shout you out, Lance and Naren, because I don't know if you guys all know, but they came to my school that I work at, and they spoke to our young men. And I don't think you guys understand how big of an impact that is on our young men to see young Black men like themselves successful in the things that you guys are doing to give back. It means a lot, and it really opens up their eyes, and they're still talking about y'all to this day. So I don't think you realize how big of a deal. Yes, shout out D Nice.
Shout out
D Nice. Y'all came and y'all spoke to our young men, and you guys really left a lasting imprint on them, and we need more of that.
It's funny you say that, because right when I left Chase, I'm gonna bring this up. I asked Chase, I said, yo, bro, word for word, I said, listen, do you think we made an impact on those kids? And I'm like, yo, I looked at those kids, I was like, yo, I think we did. And Chase goes to me, he goes, man, they're gonna forget this shit tomorrow. I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, bro, hold on, let me finish. Cut off, Poppy. Let me finish. I was like, yo, bro, listen, I really do think we did something here. And not even a minute passed. We were still standing outside. A kid from the class that we did walked up to Chase. Mm-hmm. He reached out his hand, shook his hand. He said, "You know what, sir? You really inspired me today." Oh, like I feel inspired.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. At the moment,
Larry cried.
like,
I know you shed a tear, bro.
Let me tell you,
Stop it.
I know you did.
But in the moment, I was like, he's still gonna forget this shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. These kids don't
I was
lie.
like, you know what?
Kids,
certain things stick with them.
These
man.
kids don't lie. If he didn't really feel that, he would have said nothing to you at all, or he would have just straight up told
kids
you like,
speak their
why
mind.
were
They
you
speak how they
here?
feel.
They speak their mind.
There's
Like,
a
yo,
kid
you
in
mad
one of
corny,
them
bro.
classes. And
They would've told you.
he's actually my homegirl's nephew. And when
really?
when I put the picture up, she was like, "Is that such and such?" She was like,
Oh,
and then he came home and talked about it to her.
Wow.
And
So
then,
you did leave a lasting
you
impression.
definitely left an impression.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's going
Yeah,
home and talking.
Listen, let me tell you something. We underestimate the things that we do. That we think that these kids or whoever we're helping it doesn't affect them in a way, but you don't know what somebody's internally going through. And so even as something as far as words, what you might say might trigger somebody, that might leave a lasting impression. We
And
gotta
I
be
feel like we do our
mindful of
kids a
that.
disservice because we don't do things like that often enough.
Yeah.
We don't do things like that often enough.
Active, what you was gonna say?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot, but one of the things I was gonna say is, sometimes it's dope to see, like, 10 years from now, a different kid or the same kid be like, remember that day that you came up? That's dope.
You could
know what I'm
possibly
saying?
save a kid's life.
Yeah, because it happens, sometimes, and kids are very like adults. Adults is very forgetful. Like somebody, like the Nipsey Hussle, like people who died. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like after a week, 2 weeks go by, it's like everybody doesn't care, or the trend is over. You know what I'm saying? So if a kid is remembers that 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, that means he's just like really paying attention, because there got some people that don't pay attention. That's kids and grown-ups too. You know what I'm saying? So it's really dope that y'all did a good service. You know what I'm saying? And went to the school and did that, even though Chase felt like they're gonna forget. You know what I'm saying? But it happens. My son forgets.
You should open
Well,
up
they haven't forgotten yet, so.
the kids.
Huh?
You should open up a DJ,
I should open
for
up.
Not
kids.
for nothing.
Nah,
It's a
that
lot
shit
of
would be
kids
mad
that are
dope.
interested
That would
in
be
that.
fire.
It's
That
a
would be
lot of
mad
kids
dope.
that
Next time I gotta
we
bring
have a
Active
DJ
with
that
me
comes
to
to my
career
school,
day.
and a lot
No
of kids
right.
are interested
You
in
see
that.
That's a great way to
You see
interact.
that?
No, it really is.
They had career day. They didn't even ask Active
You
to come.
guys should have invited
But-
Yeah,
Active.
we should have invited
Should have invited me, right?
Yeah.
Just give
I'm
Active
not-
his own day.
Active would have just been going to sleep.
Wait.
when that was
You know
going
what
on.
time we got there?
Oh yeah.
That's what, you would have
Yeah,
just been
yeah,
going
yeah.
to sleep, bro.
First of all, I do take Junior to school. You
That's
know
true.
that, right?
He does take Junior to school.
I get up at 5:30. My son got to be in school by 7:05. So
7:05.
That's
I
early.
still
son.
wonder how you used to make it
Goddamn.
to school at that time.
7:05. Wow.
yeah, he's
Right,
in a
you
charter
get
school.
up so
Well, actually, the doors close at 7:30, but I like to get there. Not 7:05. I'm gonna be realistic.
7:25.
7:25.
A responsible
Okay.
poppy, okay.
7:50.
That's what's up.
I ain't say I was responsible. I just said I do what I have to. Nah, I get there like 7:15, 7:20, and I take the cab to his job.
That
to
is his
school.
job.
Yeah, he has a full-time job for
That's
real.
his job.
Because he starts at like 7:45 ish, and he
So
gets
what,
out at
like
4:05.
three?
No,
4
That's
o'clock?
a long day.
Yeah, they
that's
get out
a
late these
long
days.
ass
Yeah.
day.
So why I be seeing kids already out of school like
Probably high
1:30, 2
school.
o'clock?
Sometimes it
It
depends on what
varies.
grade they are.
Son, they be
Yeah.
running
Depends
through
on
the
what
mall
grade they
all
are.
crazy.
It
And-
depends on the school
Yeah,
because
'cause
I
charter
used to get
schools
out
get
at
out late.
3 when I was younger. 3 was the normal. You know what I'm saying? But now, one of my homegirls, her daughter gets out. Her daughter's 2 years older than my son, and she gets out of school at 2:15. And I said, yo, well, Junior gets
Yeah,
out of
it's
school
public school.
Junior gets out of school at 4 or 5. She's like, damn. I was like, well, it gives you time to do whatever you have to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah. So
I
yeah.
want
Do they
my-
even have
I want my
after school
finder's
after
fee.
4 o'clock?
Huh?
They be having after school after 4 o'clock? Because they already in
They-
after school.
Tell me about it. But do his school have after school? I don't think so. I think,
school in New York City now, or
Because
and I think if they do
has
have
an
after school
program,
it-
especially junior high school.
I think it's to like 5 because when I go pick them up, I still see kids there doing stuff with
and I think it's free
certain
too, so that's good.
with certain teachers. So, it's kind of dope.
Yeah, no, and it's important because I think representation really matters. So it's just super important to for a young person to see somebody else that looks like them to have some level of success, have obtained some level of success because they're like, oh, okay, if they can do it and they
do it
seem like
too.
cool doing it, like you're doing it and you don't necessarily look like you're whack, right? So it's like they look cool, they're doing great things. So it's like if they can do it, I can do it. It makes them want to aspire.
And
to
it's funny.
something.
I
it's
actually
funny,
quit my
And
job
that's like
to take
particularly
Junior to
why I
school.
reached out to you.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
one of
And
the
that's what I was
reasons
telling
quit
to the
my job.
kids too. I was like, listen, I'm just like you. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally was in your shoes. I'm from the same neighborhood.
So y'all had
I'm a
career
weekend.
day and y'all didn't invite me though.
you guys
Listen,
really should have
So I
invited
don't have a
Active.
career.
I
That's
got,
what's up.
So
I got
look.
invited.
I didn't have.
and
I don't
you know,
have a
You
career.
work on that DJ school for the kids. I want my finder's fee. I'll help you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You're not a real friend.
And-
Look what he's thinking about.
and
Finder's
boom.
fee.
Well, I'll get a
I said
fee
I
for
would
finding
help
you
you.
the kids. I got
I
a
would
little
help
scheme
And I'm
you,
for
going
the
to
bro.
kids.
say, now that we're on the topic of public safety, where when I go to different communities, they're asking for studios and studio time because that's really getting a lot of young people off the street because it's giving them something productive to do. And not everybody's a rapper, but you could be production, you can be a writer. Like there's so many.
ins
You could
and outs.
DJ.
You gotta find your
yeah,
niche.
and you could find your niche in that space and idle hands. So if they're not idle,
Right.
they're doing something productive that they're interested in because all these young people, even if it's like diss tracks or whatever they're doing, right? Because no, they want because that's where a lot of the beef, and you'll see that a lot of these young people are saying they're incriminating themselves in all their music. So it's just like if they can use the same skill in a productive way, in a positive way,
Without
that's not
touching or fighting.
without
and
touching or
shooting.
fighting or whatever it is that they're doing, they're learning a skill at the same time. So that DJing
right.
school, I think, is actually a
It
phenomenal
is a-
idea because
it
it's
is
being
a
asked
dope
for.
idea. It is a dope idea. Like I told my homegirl, the other day, she has a son and her nephew. Her son is like in between. Like he wants to be a DJ. He wants to play ball, stuff like that. I play
They all
ball.
want to play ball.
Yeah, they-
I play ball and I DJ. So I'm like, well, he needs to be around somebody who does one or both. You know what I'm saying? So I said, if you bring him around, he could play with my son because I teach my son how to play ball and DJ, and he could choose what he want to do. But not only that, like I felt like I was limited as a kid. It's either playing ball or DJ. I don't want that for my son.
Right.
If he wants to swim, I'm gonna put him in swimming. If he wants to play hockey, you know what I'm saying? If he want to try
Or
it out.
whatever he wants to
Yeah,
do.
whatever he wants to do. I don't
Have
want
a
him to
plan.
be
Like you said, idle hands. Like
limited.
the more he's involved in, the better
so,
for him.
So I told her, like, me growing up, I was around my cousins a lot. They only played ball, DJ, and video games. And that's what I just grew around. Sometimes it takes a kid to see what the person is doing or who he's around and to do certain stuff. So if I was like a football player, basketball player, baseball player, they only gonna pick up on what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Well, your kid, you know what I'm saying? So it's good to get them involved with
And
different
it's
stuff.
crazy. We need more like groups of young black men doing this because like my son, for example, shout out to Derek.
Derek.
He
How old is your son?
he's 11. He's a
Nice.
grown man.
Derek plays basketball too.
He plays basketball, but Derek recently he's really into making beats, and I don't know anything about making beats, but he's like really into that, and it's like I love that he's into it, and I wish like I had like young black males to like take him to like show him the ropes and things of
You
that
do.
nature.
You just don't know
Like
it
we
yet.
need them. Like I'm over here teaching him about beats,
I don't
teaching him
think
about
Rachel. I don't
girls,
think
teaching
Rachel
him
knows
about that
Phresh.
stuff.
Phresh is actually he
Oh,
makes beats as well.
See, I did not know that.
But that's a
Jack
new,
of all trades.
that's a
He
new
made the
journey.
Stoop Talk. He made the
embarked
Stoop
on.
Talk beat.
Oh yeah.
With the piano and the bass.
Okay, so you could teach about FL Studio and all that because
I dibble
that stuff
and
costs
dabble a
money.
little
Dibble and
bit.
dabble again.
I dibble
He-
and dabble.
Use my line.
Yeah, no, I think it just comes
See
down
how
to
see how you try to put me on front like, oh, you should open up a deep.
I'm modest,
There
bro.
you go.
it was a good idea.
I'm modest.
Yeah, I
It's a
hear
good
you.
idea. Young people need exposure and access. Like
Yeah.
we really want to talk about reducing gun violence and making our
Yeah.
communities safer and being more civically engaged. It starts with a lot of things. One, acknowledging the systemic factors that are there and present as an obstacle by design. So understanding that those elements exist. Not everybody, nobody's born bad or doing adverse behavior. Like that happens over time. Gun violence, a gun is the last. Gun violence has nothing to do with the gun until the end. There's so many different pieces that happen. Right, whether it's starting with poverty, starting with
Leading up to
a
that.
traumatic event, like it's just a lot of trauma. Our communities are experiencing a lot of harm and a lot of trauma from by design, by this country by design. So acknowledging that, giving young people exposure and access, exposing them to things that they'd be interested in, and things that aren't even in the norm. Because like playing ball is dope and it's a great activity, but at the same time, like are they playing ball because that's what they really want to do, or the only thing that
Everybody
they
else
know
is-
is everybody else is doing
and
it?
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna limit my kid
Yeah,
because of
to-
what I did.
exactly,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I'm
whatever.
just gonna put you in
He's
different
interested
things to then you can make the choice of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And being a Zarma DJ, if you want to just do that on the side, make a little money, you could do that because that's what I was
It's
doing.
a good skill to always
Yeah.
I
have.
want to
so-
learn. I want to learn how to DJ, bro.
All
You
right.
teach me.
Yeah, like I
I'm
was
serious.
saying, like, as a
I want to
kid,
scratch. You know what I mean? Learn how to.
I don't even know how to scratch. I just know how to
He don't
entertain.
know.
man.
He was doing something on Insta story and they was scratching and I was like,
All right, listen.
No,
we
he said he was
we
rusty.
gotta run to the next topic. Y'all is something else, man. But anyways,
Oh, well,
man,
I guess I'll end. Like, what, we're still gonna talk about the gun violence piece, or we're gonna wrap that up?
no, that was we just jumped right into it. You didn't even know it.
Oh, okay.
But,
Yeah,
but you
we
want
did.
you
I
want
feel like we did.
you
It
want
was
to do the
effortless. It
last-
just
It
flowed.
was a nice flow. You know,
Yeah, I ain't gonna
it's all
lie.
about the good organic
This was the
conversation.
first time we flowed into the topic without even saying the topic.
Yeah, I purposely did that.
Of course, he
Really,
wants
I
to.
thought,
He wants to
I thought
take
the
the
ladies
credit.
kind of like, you know,
He
navigate
purposely
that
did
piece,
that.
but,
Because
you know,
I knew
I think
that
that
they
was
were going to.
over
think that was
here,
kinda
not
like
really
a-
here.
No, but I knew that was gonna happen
And for
because of the
anybody,
guests.
and for anybody who was watching the last episodes when I didn't know who Joe was, oh my God, I watched the whole thing. Joe kept you in a freaking cube when you find out who really Joe is. So, now he's Joe.
Lance is
This
Joe.
is Joe BCE now.
This is Joe BCE. So,
Wait, what?
you know, if you find, I would suggest you not to find out any type of secret about him. Because
Anyways,
you probably won't even be in the show after.
anyways, Haley and Rachel,
Or you might
man,
not
listen. Haley and Rachel, man, I really appreciate you guys, coming on, especially for this first segment. Because I
Definitely
think,
dope messages.
yes, because I think this message is very important, and I hope it hits, home to a lot of people, listening, to our listeners that's listening, because
Right.
civically engaged, we need to be more civically engaged.
Nice.
right?
You said it right.
Yeah, I
Nice.
said it right.
Bomb for that.
And then shout out to Rachel's organization too, with Love Fundraising. How many? It's three of you guys all together, right? So shout out to your
Shout out to the other
counterparts.
two. Who's the other two?
It's Cleo and Barbara. Shout out Cleo and
Cleo
Barbara.
and Barbara.
Remember-
Hey. All right. So listen, just last word on your event that's coming, because this is gonna air before your event.
Yes.
So it's at Elite Space. Tickets, we can get that through the
Tickets
Eventbrite.
are going to be on Eventbrite. I guess you guys can put the link in.
Yeah, we're gonna have the link in
description.
there.
Tickets are $35. $50 for VIP. VIP comes with a lot. It's open bar. We have a swag bag with lots of different items
swag bag.
from the vendors.
Swag
Sorry?
I
bag.
got Henny.
In the open bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, top
Especially
shelf
for you.
open.
Well,
bar.
I actually bought my
I got
ticket
it.
already.
I got it.
so-
I got it. Lance bought his ticket already.
I'm trying to
Lance
transition
is
to
being real
Duce.
frugal. Lance bought his ticket when it was still early bird prices, so he knew what he was doing.
I'm supporting my friends.
Let me get it at the
We
right
know what
time.
type of We know Lance is the Groupon.
Listen,
Sure,
no. It's
But
funny
that's smart.
It's funny y'all all call me
But
cheap,
that's
but look,
smart.
I give
But
back
remember,
a lot.
would
My money,
I'm
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
smart.
cheap too,
Lance
though.
is always supporting.
But I'm
so
cheap
he's
too,
supporting.
That's
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah, I
being
didn't
cheap,
go, so
son.
I'm gonna go this year.
Yeah, you missed. You missed.
Well, we
you
wasn't
missed
here.
last one.
Wasn't
That
it?
was 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
Last
you
year I
was there.
was
Last
there.
year you was there.
Yes,
yeah.
I
You was there both. You wasn't there both years.
No,
not the first
So you
time
don't do
only-
it all the
Yeah, I was
time.
out.
Me and Ak was there.
I still don't.
So you
do
don't
it.
support
okay.
all the time. So don't
Right.
say you support all the time. You wasn't there last year.
Anyways,
I was there. Hold on. I came for 1 hour.
Same.
I still paid full price, and I came for 1
I
hour
wasn't
after
even
work.
here.
So
Yeah.
why you wasn't there?
I wasn't in the.
He
I wasn't in the
Atlanta.
state.
He was
Nah.
out of state.
Oh, what
Lance
you doing in Atlanta?
Lance
Wasn't
would
he in the
have.
Poconos?
He
sound
was in the
like a-
Poconos.
sound like a
No,
Jamaican.
Lance
yes,
Lance
we
would have
was
been
in
was
there.
in the
He was
state
there.
by you.
Poconos.
Oh, you was
Yeah.
there in the Poconos too?
Yeah, he was in the Poconos. So why you ain't come last year?
Oh.
Last year, I think
I think that's when you just had that when you just found out.
Uh-oh. Anyways,
Nah.
Yeah. I'll try to help you out.
Yeah, you guys will all be there.
Nah,
May
we
11th,
He was
you guys will
supposed to
all be
take
there.
that
Well,
kite.
Christoph Christian will
Yeah, I
be.
just
Christoph
found out
Christian
about
will
it.
be
First
one of
time.
quick plug.
First time.
Christoph Christian will be one of the designers featured in.
can I get a bomb for that?
Bomb for that.
They
Christoph
getting
Christian coming
their
through.
own, they getting their
Yeah.
own piece.
They getting their own segment in the fashion show, Christoph Christian. So big up to them.
Yeah, I'm still trying to see if I could be the lead model for Christoph Christian, but they hate
know
on
what I
me.
mean?
You know what I'm saying? So
No.
that's fine.
They need
that's
people
cool.
with
No,
hair.
active. Can I get the no?
Don't body shame or hair shame.
Anyways,
Get the no.
but we got listen, but since we're talking about Christoph Christian, I'm just gonna put that plug in there. You know, please shop at ChristophChristian.com. Stoop Talk merch is available on there. The hoodie, the hat,
The hat.
shirt.
Oh,
Fresh got the hat on. You know, what I'm saying?
and got the hoodie.
She don't have it on right now.
Nah, but she
No,
got
but
it.
she got the shirt on.
and she
Oh,
got
she
the
can. Well, yeah,
shirt.
the shirt is Christoph Christian. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you get
we-
a bunch of pieces there.
We need to put the camera on and
But anyways, yeah, shop
Hey,
at
yo.
Christoph Christian, man.
Back to this piece,
Oh,
you get our
situation
Stoop
Let
over
me tell you,
here.
I didn't know we was doing shout outs today because y'all shouted out D Nice. I felt away because when I do shit like that, y'all be like, oh,
No,
Active
'cause
always
you don't
shouting
know
out
how to do one or two. You want to shout out the whole of Brooklyn like you at Privé. Like, yo,
No,
Bruh.
but they here. Yo, and shout out to Josh, man. Because me and shout out Josh. That's how I feel. I feel away. Shout out to Josh.
yo, you are very aggressive today, son.
You know what I'm saying?
DJ Active, you done?
Go ahead.
You know why?
Okay.
Because you didn't have no pizza today, so it didn't mellow you out.
Yeah, he looks hungry. He seems hungry.
You're
see him
very
hungry.
aggressive today,
Yeah,
son.
we've had the
see
strawberry
The
banana.
nigga
Your
need to
diet
smoke
is
some
getting
weed.
to you.
First of all,
You're very hangry.
first of all, I had a lot to eat today. And pause.
Yo, what's the next topic,
Alright,
bro?
look,
I was about to say how much curry you had.
I had honey jack wings. I had shrimp, spicy shrimp, and I had rice and peas.
That sound like a date.
Sound like a very expensive
Sound
thing.
like a date meal.
First of all, one was Fridays, the other one was somewhere else.
AKA a curry house. You was at
No.
a curry house.
You got
No.
pad thai.
No.
He just said he had the
I
Jack
was-
Daniel sampler.
Exactly. If I was at a curry house, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. Okay?
That he would have been engulfed in the curry.
I would have been asleep.
Oh, you
After
Your
sleeping?
curry in your curry blanket, your roti blanket.
With my
Roti
roti
All right,
blanket.
y'all. Listen, I don't know what's going on. But anyways, we're gonna get into the stoop break. You know, this is one of my favorite parts.
Uh-oh.
Haley, I don't know if I know both of you guys. You know, y'all watched a couple of episodes, so y'all know what the stoop breakers is. You know, it's supposed to be a brain tease, kind of silly, dumb, smart questions. You know, we have to break the ice a little. We have fun with it. You know, we spend like about 5 to 10 minutes on it, whatnot, and then we move on. So,
That's a stoop breaker sound.
we got a sound finally.
No, you're not
was-
getting away with that.
That was corny.
That was a smooth way of
You're
saying, by
not
the way, we
getting-
have a new sound.
You're not getting away
That
with
was a
that.
stoop breaker
You're
sound.
supposed to have a whole
You're supposed to
drop.
get a drop done. You're not
A whole
getting away
drop.
with that.
So
Well,
just
sorry.
for that,
DJ Active is a busy man, you know.
no, just for that,
Facts.
you need to get like an artist now. Just for that.
Facts.
The stoop, that sound effect was it hard?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get one of your artist friends.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know you have
Facts.
you know, Casanova, you know,
That's
Safari,
hard though, right?
No, you gotta
know
get
that sound?
you gotta get a major hype.
Let's
or
ask
major
you this.
hype, you
Do
know
you
what
like
I'm
that sound?
No, I do like the sound. It's dope, but you're outnumbered here, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
sound like you just introed your mixtape from
See,
like
they're
4
voting
years
right
ago.
now.
Yo.
They're exercising their civic engagement.
Oh,
in the-
I felt it was smooth when he said stoop break and I just dropped it and it was
Well, you know what? Since
Like
we're talking
Transformers.
since we're talking about the stoop breakers, today's your lucky day, Active, because actually this is I took this stoop breaker from you. We're gonna use something that
It
you.
ain't my lucky days. Your lucky days.
We're gonna use something that.
He swear he the only one that got good stoop breakers.
Not really, but
No, this
I mean,
one.
it's-
I thought this one was kind of funny. You know?
All right, so what's up?
Let's
which
get
one,
to it.
which
So-
one? Which one is this?
Yeah, you're gonna laugh. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is DJ Actor that came up with the stoop breaker, and I thought it was cool. So
He
I was
set
like,
the
you know what?
disclaimer hard, son.
Well, yeah, I did. So the stoop breaker is, and I'm gonna, put my attention to Haley and Rachel first. I want them to get first dibs. So the stoop breaker for today is: would you
Always.
be rather called stupid or dumb?
Oh
If you had to choose one of those words, which one
no,
would you?
but I didn't say that.
That's what you said.
No, I didn't.
What did you say?
You
I said
always
which-
messing up somebody's
I
stuff.
said, which one is worse? Being
Oh,
called
yeah.
stupid,
Right, you did say that.
being called stupid,
He's right.
or dumb.
Sorry. Damn.
So
Say
you
my-
should go first.
And no.
Damn, that went over heads.
And whichever one is worse, that's what Lance is, because this nigga fucked up my
Yeah,
shit.
my bad, bro.
Nah. Because if you say the way you said it is like, how you gonna? I don't want to be called neither,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
which one is worse?
Which
Yeah,
one
we
is
can go that
worse?
angle.
Yeah, which one is worse to you?
What y'all think?
I don't know. I feel like being called stupid is more like questioning my intelligence. Like I'd rather be called dumb because I feel like you make dumb choices and things that you do may be dumb, but that doesn't make you like an unintelligent person.
I'm gonna tell you when y'all all done. I'm gonna tell you the answer that I got for that.
You looked this up, like you Googled
you
it
took
or
a
something?
poll.
Or
No,
you took-
I did
you
a
took
poll on Instagram. That's where he got
Okay.
it from.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like personally, I think being stupid is questioning your intelligence. Like you can make dumb choices and do dumb things, but still be a smart person. So I feel like, I wouldn't want to be called stupid. You can call me dumb. Things that I do are dumb. Everybody do dumb shit. But if you're stupid, then you're stupid. No.
Haley, what you think?
Yeah, that was actually they had the same thing. Like I think stupid is just like there's more base to stupid too, right? There's a lot of
Nah.
like when you say right, no,
I don't
like
think so.
stupid,
Nah.
right?
I don't
Instead of
think
like
Stupid.
yeah.
Nah, that's actually high pitch. When you say yo, you're dumb, it's like basic.
Are you dumb?
But when you're saying "Are you dumb?" it's usually like
No, but
kind of you're
because it
joking with
became a
somebody. It's
trend.
like,
Really
"Are you
trying to
dumb?"
get it out in the mic.
Like that, huh?
He was really just trying it out in the mic.
What?
That's what he just did. You ain't peep? Go ahead.
No. I didn't peep.
You by yourself on this.
Yeah, all right, that's cool. I'll be over here.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
Keds?
Yeah,
Keds?
but it'll be the same.
Keds, what you think?
I don't know.
You choose one. I know which one you choose too. So don't say you don't know.
Yeah, I think
He saw you on the little vote on the voting.
On the
poll.
voting, yeah.
When did you put this out?
What did I say?
Come on, son.
I don't remember.
You put
That
dumb.
means he was clicking through your story.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't paying
Clicked
attention.
one by mistake.
Nah, cause someone asked me this question before.
You don't watch active stories, bro?
Yeah, he
Nah,
do.
I actually do. Someone asked me
You
this
see the
question
view
before,
if
I
he
can't
just
remember.
clicking. If he ain't watching it.
No, but I have to select if I want stupid or dumb. I'm just
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
know what I
click
do?
past.
You know what I do on purpose? Because there's people who just does click.
You
I put
put
it
it-
all the way in the bottom. So because usually when you're clicking, you're up here.
Yeah.
So
Smart. DJ Active.
Yeah, I try to be.
Oh,
That's smart.
Yeah.
Using social media. Why?
Well, I guess it's safe to say you're not stupid.
You see? That's what I'm saying. Well, what you pick?
I didn't see it, but I think for me, I feel like being called dumb is worse.
Right.
I feel like dumb is more of a degrading term than stupid,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Given to what you guys said, I could kind of agree with it, but at the same time, being called dumb still insults your intelligence
Same
on
way.
multiple levels, not just book smart.
Right.
So I feel like being dumb is worse.
Right. Like remember, before Are You Dumb? You remember there was a yo, you stupid, yo. Remember that phrase? Yo, you stupid, yo. Like, remember that? Before Are You Dumb? Because Are You Dumb is a trend now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Stupid was a thing too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
you said a whole bunch of nothing.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying.
No.
I was trying to figure out when you was.
Because they said the Are You Dumb stuff. I said it's a trend now. Remember, stupid was a trend too back then.
Right.
Remember when
Wait, people don't say that anymore.
they're like, yeah, you
Am I like am I aging myself?
Right. That's all.
I'm trying to stay on point.
I don't hear nobody saying
know?
it like that no more. Do you hear people like laugh and say, "Yo, you stupid"? Yo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear that.
I do.
I don't really hear that.
Who you be around?
You nigga.
Whoa. Hey.
But anyway, Chase, what you think?
Honestly, I could care less. But if I had to choose one, probably stupid.
That's worse.
Yeah, probably stupid. Don't call me stupid.
But why?
Don't call me stupid.
Why? What's your reason?
So you'd rather be
Because-
called dumb?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying?
because it's that. Remember, it's trending now. So it's like, are you dumb? Like, I
But-
could ease up on that. But, don't
But
call
then,
me
wouldn't
stupid.
that be if it's
No,
trending?
but
Wouldn't
see,
that
y'all, y'all are taking the phrase and making
Exactly.
it.
I
I also think we
It's
should
not
incorporate
the
tone into this.
However,
That's,
If-
that
let's-
also
let-
depends on your
Tone.
tone.
Let's
too.
consider it like
that's
this.
why I said what I said.
Let's consider it like this,
you
not
said it
the
was a bunch
phrase.
of
I think
nothing.
you should look at the word.
If somebody comes
Yeah.
to you and be like, "Yo, you mad dumb, son," or just be like, "Yo, you mad,"
and they
you stupid.
serious. And they serious.
You can't tell me that dumb doesn't hit you in your chest harder than
I
stupid.
mean, technically, both of them do. You know what I'm saying? Because it all depends. Like, yo, this is New
You know,
York.
I
It
don't think
depends
so.
on the pace in your voice, homie. Like,
I
how
agree.
you
With,
talk to me and
I
what
agree
you
with both
say
of them, man.
is a lot.
I think stupid is worse.
Because I could laugh and joke at you and be
You
like,
think
haha,
stupid is
you
worse?
stupid.
I
you
think
dumb."
stupid is
Let's
worse.
ask
Yo,
Josh.
my nigga,
Josh,
are you stupid?
What you? How you feel,
And then
Josh?
it's like,
Wait,
okay.
let me ask
Let
Josh.
Josh-
Here we
I
go,
like-
Josh.
you can-
Josh,
Follow me.
yeah.
Josh didn't say so.
Yeah, man.
Josh
What's
wants
up,
the
man?
mic.
What's up?
The engineer, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see, which one's worse?
Yeah,
stupid or
to
dumb?
you.
To me, actually, I'd probably say dumb is worse to me. Because I know a lot of stupid people that can avoid
But
making.
see, even the way you
Wait,
just
wait,
said
wait,
that,
wait,
like,
hold on,
I
hold on.
felt that.
No. Here's how I'm gonna say it. I know a lot of stupid people, like really stupid people, that are super successful because they don't make dumb decisions, but they're stupid. They're real stupid.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
I understand what you're
I'd
saying.
much rather be. Wait, what did I just say again?
So you'd much rather be called dumb.
Yeah,
But then
much
is that a
rather-
question of like they're stupid because of like their morality?
No, he rather be
Or like-
called stupid
right?
because
Or like because you're thinking like if they don't make dumb decisions, they make smart business moves, but they're stupid because of like their ethics. Is that what's making them stupid?
No, like they
he's just saying
literally-
that dumb is worse.
Yeah,
basically.
like dumb is
I'm
worse.
trying to understand the degree of.
Yeah, like they somehow managed to make the right decision in terms of like they recognize that they're stupid. Like they know that they got a deficiency. I'm not joking. I know these people. They are friends of family and some family for real. And,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man.
I can relate.
and I see them succeeding way more than me, and I'm just like, man, that dude is stupid. And somehow,
Oh man.
That's why I asked Josh. You see why I asked Josh?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Josh.
Shout out to
man.
Josh.
So what did your poll say, Active? Dumb one.
Yeah,
didn't
what-
it?
who
Dumb
won?
had a higher
Well,
percentage.
for me, I think it's dumb. Let me just because I never answered. So dumb is the worst for me. The poll was dumb. It was about 70 to 30
That dumb was
percentage.
worse.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's
think so.
Did
too.
I say dumb?
Yeah, you did.
I said stupid. No, I thought you said stupid.
I said dumb, bro.
And you said stupid.
He's been advocating
Kez,
for
what
dumb
you
for a
said?
while.
You
I
ain't
said dumb. I couldn't remember what I said. 'cause
And both of you guys
two people
said
asked
dumb.
me that question, but
said-
I answered
Oh,
differently.
y'all said stupid.
Yeah, we
Oh,
said
wow, this is all over the
But
place.
you said you agreed with them, so you
yes,
agree
I said
stupid is worse.
It's worse. Yes.
Okay, so that's 3
Four.
and Darren. So
It's-
it's a
it's
4-4.
4-4, yeah.
It's 4-4.
Interesting.
So we
Shout
need a
out to
tiebreaker.
Yo,
D nice.
Be nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
we
we need
somebody to
tiebreaker.
Pull up, do nice. Pull up, bro. We
Be
would
nice to the mic. Be
we
nice
would
to the
ask
mic.
Ann, but she's Trini, so. Well, yeah, man, I got it.
Need a tiebreaker, man, real quick.
Quick, fast, bro.
Welcome back, D Nice, to the show for the second
There's
time.
so much
What's up,
anxiety.
yo? What's up,
D-Nice,
yo?
we are cheering for you. What's up?
I don't like to lose. Be nice. I don't like to lose.
We're at the edge of our
How you feel?
Stupid or
how,
dumb?
How you feel, bro?
Which is worse to you?
Real quick, so you gotta wrap.
That was your
honestly, just listening to like even what Josh said and how he put it, I would rather be called stupid than dumb. You know, like he said,
Facts.
there are plenty of stupid people who are successful, running businesses, doing everything day to day, making money work for them, and they just don't make dumb decisions, but they're stupid. You know, it is what it is, and that's a
And there you
topic.
have it, folks.
There
you
you
go.
go. There you have it. Wait.
Shout out to D Nice and Josh.
And that was a good stoop breaker.
That was.
Again.
That was. You know what? I'll give you credit. That was a good one.
I had to start watching
And, you know,
acting
I
stories.
Voluntarily giving you credit.
And I took it upon myself.
No,
put
you know
my-
what? Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
like to take, like, you just have
Nah,
to make...
I give him the credit this time.
No. But you realize that Lance do this a lot. Always, yeah. I already knew this, but just tell the people. That's all the time, son.
Well,
That's the joke.
You couldn't just say, Active came up with the stoop breaker. I thought it was dope. That's what we're gonna use.
I'm giving the man.
Did he give his what he said it was?
I'm giving the man his credit.
He said it. He said he thought stupid was
Oh,
worse.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, it's just basically how you feel about it. But I like the way Josh put it.
That was a nice interpretation.
I like. That's why I asked Josh. You know what I'm saying? And Josh is funny for
Facts.
anybody who don't know.
Is
Josh
hilarious.
is very funny guy. You know what I'm saying?
Lance, I will never say you had another stupid break again, my friend. I'm sorry.
Thank you,
That
Chase.
wasn't
Oh,
his technically,
wait. But he's trying to say he had dumb
Dumb
stupid.
Anyways, we're gonna move on. All right. So thank you everybody for participating. This was.
Why you had to blow it up, son?
Anyways, we're moving on. Listen, guys, don't forget to don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on all our social media platforms. Stoop Talk Podcast. We are on iTunes.
Son.
We're on Google Play. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and they are all called Stoop Talk Podcast. All right, so very important. Follow them. Follow those pages. Like those pages. Comment, rate, share it, repost the the videos on Facebook and on Instagram. That'll help us a big deal. And it is called Stoop Talk Podcast. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into this next topic, or the final topic actually. This is another serious scenario that actually happened not so long ago, recently, right? By the time this airs, it's gonna air, within 2 weeks or so. But this is a situation that happened, right? In Florida, Broward County, this is basically Miami, right? There was a 15-year-old boy that that basically got arrested by force, right? Allegedly the story was I think they were like by the school, and there was another young kid, a teen, that was being wrongfully arrested. So they said, right? It wasn't clear exactly what he got arrested for. I didn't find that information, right? But apparently the sheriff was, arresting him wrongfully, and then the kid's name is Lucca. He crossed paths with the sheriff, and the boy, his phone dropped on the floor, right? That's what they're saying. And Lucca reached to pick up the phone. As he, pretty much came back up, the sheriff, I guess, saw that and got nervous. So whatever it was, he did it, right? But the sheriff then proceeded to pepper spray him. And then as the video's gonna be playing as, I'm talking about this for the listeners and the viewers. For the viewers, right? So as the guy, comes up, sheriff pepper sprays him, and then they wrestle him to the floor, banged his head on the, on the floor. 2 sheriffs came in. Mind you, just a small, little black kid, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to call him little to degrade him, but, he's younger than, the sheriff and smaller in stature, right? Mm-hmm. So, so he got arrested and he got charged for resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. And was another, I think it was assault of an officer, right? Mm-hmm. So my question to y'all regarding this situation is basically, what are y'all thoughts about, a lot of people are summing this up as, police brutality, like what's new, nothing new, right? So I just want to know what y'all think about this, specific situation here that took place based on what we see, right? So Haley could go first since you about to speak anyway.
It's disgusting. I'm tired of seeing this. It's happening every day, and it's happening when people don't even have cameras. My first thing I would say is Black Lives Matter. And I will not say all lives matter, because saying Black Lives Matter does not take away from other lives. So we have to understand communities that are being oppressed, killed unmercifully, and not justly. So definitely just screaming at the top of my lungs, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And this young boy, how is it that this kid, he is 15 years old. 15. He is a baby. If you look at him, he is, small stature. And he did not resist arrest. He was trying to get away from the situation. He tried to calmly walk away when you're watching the video. And all of his peers are also saying, yo, stop. He's bleeding. Yeah. At what point are you not saying that you're having it? Where is this young person a threat? Yeah. How is he a threat? When do you not realize that you're using excessive force? And to date, this officer has just been put on a modified assignment.
Yeah, today he was put on modified assignment.
Yeah, I don't
reassigned.
Even know. But you're getting paid. So when are we really going to start to hold police officers accountable for what they're doing to young black men, young black women, brown communities, indigenous communities, transgender community, everybody, but it's just but most specifically young black boys. So it's just at what point are you gonna say like this is wrong? Because like they're not testing for this is because it's racist. It's just a racist system. Because at what point how do you test? And it's just like also like how do you test to see if somebody's racist or not, right? Because if you ask somebody, would you?
When they do stuff like this,
yes, but I'm saying they have to take a test. But they have to take a test, right? And or they have to do like a psych exam and all of these things. But there isn't anything that specifically really. How can you see if somebody's racist or not? Because they're saying, would you judge somebody by the color of their skin or whatever it is? Of course, somebody's going to say no.
Exactly.
Right?
Correct
and
answer.
the problem is that a lot of people, especially when you're talking about if we're trying to undo racism, like the biggest problem is that white people have an issue with acknowledging, and there are some white allies, but there are other white people that do not acknowledge their privilege, right? So it's just like you have to acknowledge like that there's a privilege that exists, and you have to acknowledge your implicit bias. If you're not acknowledging, everybody in this room has implicit biases. The only way you're going to get past that and be able to become, somebody that actually empathizes and sympathizes and cares for other human beings is understanding I have an implicit bias because of where I grew up. There's stereotypes and things that I may have learned that I need to unlearn. But until you do that, you're going to be afraid when you see a young a young black boy. You were afraid that he was aggressive. So it just gets me upset. And I'm always getting like super enraged when I'm seeing things like this happen. This young boy, this blood like just spilling out of his mouth. And it's just like, at what point we really going to start saying, and then you want to rebuttal with the Blue Lives Matter sort of situation? It's just like, it's not a contest of whose life, like,
he didn't even have a weapon.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything.
Yeah, I just want to chip in and say
He picked up
something
a
real
phone.
quick. Yeah,
Let me tell you something.
Over a phone.
Even if he was resisting arrest, it still doesn't
It's
give
still,
you the
there's
right
still no merit to
bang
do
his
that.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
let me just make a comment first, real quick. Sorry, I could cut you off, but
No, you
'cause
meant to do
always
that.
yeah, I did
that's
mean to
all
do
right.
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I know.
I did.
You smiled.
But I just want to get my point across first before I forget. But regarding this situation, you see, I think this is definitely police brutality, right? And I think this goes beyond just police. And I think Phresh could agree with me on this. I think this is a systematic issue. Like when I say systematic, meaning this is something I feel is drilled into, the white man. This drilled into their heads from the beginning. Like for some reason, like there's just something about this intimidation on, black men, right? Whether they're young, they're black. And I think this stems back from, generations to generations. And I honestly feel like these officers, not to hold them accountable because they are very accountable, I just feel like they don't even understand that, or they subconsciously don't get it, because this makes no sense why this keeps happening over and over and over again. And to the point where the kid clearly was no threat. Lucca, that's his name. He wasn't no threat, right? If you guys watch the video, he was under control being arrested, right?
There was like
it was
officers on his back.
it was way excessive, for no reason. And like I said, I subconsciously think they don't even, it's either they don't realize, and I date that back to how they were growing up. When I say they, meaning, the white man or white officers,
Racism is taught.
right?
Taught.
Exactly. And I like I said, I feel like they just, maybe some of them don't get it, or maybe some of them they just hate, black people, right, or whatever it is, right? But I'll also say this too: in situations like this, like what Rachel alluded to earlier, it makes me, terrified of raising kids or bringing babies into this world. Honestly, like right now, currently, I don't even plan on. It's sad enough, I don't even plan on having kids. But it's more to it than just that. I mean, first I got to find a wholesome woman that I actually like.
All right, you're going
But-
too
All
far.
right.
But that's a whole.
Lance,
But I'm just.
Let me.
We don't usually
this is
like
not a
wholesome
dating
women.
show.
First
I'm
of
just
all,
saying. I'm just
first-
keeping it.
Let
Can I finish? Hold on.
Wait.
I would like
First you
to-
said it was a comment. You doing a whole essay and paragraph,
Sorry,
bro.
but
I'm gonna
listen,
forget what I'm gonna say, bro.
Just keep repeating.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Write it down.
But he's going into a dating
But,
show now. Like, come on.
But anyways, but it just makes me terrified to bring a child into this world. And I always say, because like even now, I'm still scared for my niece and my nephew. Like I'm scared for their lives, especially growing up here in Brooklyn, because it's like, yo, it's so bad with everything was going on with, especially with the police. Like, these our black young kings, they're targets, really and truly. And it's very scary. Like they don't have, like if you can't depend on the police for public safety, then for our young kids growing up, then who could we depend on?
It's so scary. I did a community survey, and we were just doing interesting that you mentioned domestic violence before. We were doing a community survey to see what exists in the community. What are people's perception of public safety and the different organizations, or what they feel the needs, like a whole needs assessment. Like, what are the needs here? What do you feel is impacting your public safety and your quality of life? And when we were asking about when domestic violence or like other forms of violence in your community happen, who do you call? And a lot of them would just say 911 or the police. But when you ask them why, they would just say because they didn't know of anything else, because they're actually afraid to call the police because they don't know what's going to happen next after that. So if you're talking about domestic violence, a lot of people don't want to call police officers because they feel that the situation is going to get worse, right? Maybe you might be taking somebody out the house and arresting them, and I might not want them to be arrested and their lives to be ruined, but I just want the abuse to stop right now. It could be a whole immigration thing. There's so many different reasons why they're afraid to call police for that instance. And then for all the other things, it's just like, is the police going to believe me? Am I going to die in this? And that's a real question. Will I die if I call the police to help me?
That's crazy.
Because that's
crazy
happened recently. Somebody called the police. I think it was a woman. And I'm really being annoyed. I'm a little annoyed with myself because I'm not remembering the exact case, but I want to say it was like a week or two ago. She called for help. And then the police officers started to assault her. And it's like, are you kidding me right now? And it's just like, so at what point?
That happened to me. I didn't really call, but I told somebody to like, yo, get the police. This girl is wilding. I end up getting arrested. That's crazy,
And
right?
you DJ Active. They didn't know you?
Think they give a fuck?
But anyways, you had a point you wanted to make.
Active wanted the mic back. That's why I made the comment.
That's why I made the comment. Thank you.
I knew
Phresh is on me.
exactly what you was
Pause.
doing, but go ahead.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say to what you said earlier about the Black Lives Matter, a lot of people who are probably not black or whatever, whether you're Hispanic or white, if you're watching this, the reason why we say Black Lives Matter because it happens to black people more than anybody in the world.
And that's a fact.
It barely happens to a white person. Like, show me 5 videos. This been happening. It happens at least a couple times a year. You know what I'm saying?
I can show you 5 videos for black people in the past couple of weeks.
Facts.
Past couple of weeks.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. So for anybody who's not black that is watching this is a reason why she said Black Lives Matter, because it happens to us all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I had to pull up because I couldn't remember the movie. I don't know if anybody saw it. The Hate That You Give.
Yeah.
Anybody saw that?
That movie was great.
Dope movie.
Great movie. If you never saw it, I suggest you to watch it. You know what I'm saying? A kid, he was in his car, got killed. And that in the movie that happened, it happens in real life to black people.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying? All the time. So a lot of black kids are just scared of cops.
Yeah.
And a lot of black kids want to be cops because they trying to take that fear and to make a change.
Yeah,
because I have
see the fucked up part with that is you turn around now and you apply for PD, right? You're a black cop. You're a black kid in the hood. You grow up, go to school, do what you got to do the right way, and you apply for PD. You get the job. You go through that. They're not gonna place you in those neighborhoods. Just like when they get white boys from Long Island that never been to a hood, that grew up out there and went to whatever high school out there and they can't relate to us. You take that and you bring that to East New York or you bring that to Brownsville and it's like, oh shit, the projects.
Yeah.
Now you come into the hood with this mindset like, yo, I gotta be tougher than them.
Yeah.
And in reality, nobody's testing you, bro.
I think they started this, Haley, and correct me if I'm wrong. Think about last year. They started this.
But go ahead.
I think they started this community revolution police, something like that, where it's supposed to be like officers that they're not really like patrolling, but they're more so like, I'm trying to get to know you. Like
what,
this
community affairs?
Something of the sort.
So at PD, in New York, PD has been trying to do I guess a lot to try to be more community centered. So in addition to the community affairs unit that they have an NCO program that's called your neighborhood coordinating officer. And pretty much what that initiative is about bringing back the beat cop. So the cop that will say, hello, how you doing? And really navigate all of your quality of life issues, public safety issues, and whatever have you. Not my only, but one of my issues, and this is again just Haley speaking, not my organization, I feel that it's kind of weird for me where it's just like I feel like everyone should essentially be a NCO then, right? And if we're really talking about bringing this back into like we want to do community policing. We want to have the police officers know who the community is and really treat people with dignity and respect. If that's the case, then why is everyone not trained to be an NCO? And you might have your separate units. You might have your detective, your narcotics, your field intelligence, whatever it is. But shouldn't everybody be trained to teach people with compassion and respect?
Absolutely.
Like it's called so procedural justice is when people are, whether or not you come in contact with the judicial system, you're treated with respect. So whether or not you did the most heinous thing at the moment of your arrest, and I'm just saying heinous because I have to be, just a little bit of hyperbole. If I'm arresting you and you're arrested, I'm not necessarily like speaking out of term to you, disrespecting you. I'm just saying, this is what you did. I'm sorry, I have to arrest you, right? That doesn't always go easily like that. So I'm not going to say like, oh, this is what happens. And the officer will be like, have you ever been a police officer? I get into these conversations all the time. But regardless if that happens, the whole process after, if people feel like they were treated like humans, the likelihood of them recidivating, like coming back, or how they feel about the judicial system or the police officers is more positive, because it's like, okay, I did do something wrong. Let's just put it out there. I did something wrong. A police officer arrested me. I was held accountable. But while he did that, he also treated me with respect. So I will now say that, okay, the police officer treated me well. So people have a little bit more faith in the system.
Right.
Right? Because if you're being treated like, there's been times where I've seen people be treated terribly, and it was like for things that they didn't even do, or like super like petty crimes or petty things. So it's just like, why are you treating, like, you could just tell me what I did wrong. You don't have to berate me.
So you want to finish your take, Active, and then we could go.
I forgot what I was gonna say, but there's one thing. No, it's not your fault. It's Lance's fault. There's one thing I do want to say though. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. All right, I got arrested. Right, I had wine coolers in the back. I'll never forget his name, Officer Boone. Never forget him.
Officer Boone, if you listen, to shame on you, because you
shame
made my
the
friend.
fuck on you.
But
I
go on.
was young.
Tell us about Officer Boone, real quick. Make it short.
Yeah. So this is not what I want to say, but I had to bring up something.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I had a bunch of wine coolers, whatever, and I was going home. So he comes up to me and says, "What's in the bag?" I said, "Why is it your business? Whatever's in my bag is in my bag. Let me see what's in your bag." I showed him what's in my bag. "Oh, so you're drinking tonight?" I said, "Am I?" I said, "I don't know if I'm drinking. How you know it's for me? I just went to the store." "All right, so where you headed now?" "This is none of your business." I hate when cops do that. You don't have the right to ask a person where they're going, especially if you didn't get like a call saying a guy wearing a yellow hat and a red shirt just did a crime. You don't have no business asking a person. And this happens to black people all the time, because it's not just, I'm just saying this story because this happens all the time. So anyway, fast forwarding, he's like, "Oh, you giving me lip now, blah, blah, blah." So he takes my bag. He opens one of the wine coolers and he pours it out. So you can't drink outside. He radios his officers.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Are you serious?
Yeah. And officers came and everybody that was on my block saw what's going on. So I'm like, at that time, this was like flip phone time. So you know what I'm saying? So he says, so everybody in the block is riled up, like, "Why you did that? Blah, 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 blah." So when the cops came now, they see everybody is riled up. They see me riled up. So they now aggressive, because they come into an aggressive situation. So now Officer Boone is trying to like grab me. I'm like, "Yo, I didn't do nothing. You freaking poured out my freaking bottle. I didn't even drink anything." So the other cop was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Yo, he poured out." He said, and he's like, "No, he was drinking this, and I'm arresting him for drinking it." I said, "You can smell my breath. I don't have no wine cooler smell." They still arrested me. So now that they come in to grab me or whatever, he's doing stuff, and I'm fighting with him like, "Yo, you're not arresting me." And then my other boy actually got arrested too, because he tried to stop them from arresting me because I didn't do anything. And then 3 people got arrested from that situation. Now, for anybody that is listening, anybody who's like a black man, you know what I do now? I just answer, because I could have a DJ gig that night or whatever, which I did, and I lost out on money. If you have something important to do, or even if you don't, if you just want to get home, if they ask you, just answer and keep it moving, because when you give them back talk, is a shame, because it's called freedom of speech. When you give them back talk, it makes no sense.
Well, before I get to ask Rachel what her opinion is, it's funny enough you mentioned the story, because I know one of your events I went to, Civically Engaged, they actually speak about, you had a speaker that spoke about, know your rights, know what you can say to police officers, what you cannot say. So it's funny you actually now bring that up because it's kind of like go hand in hand. Like, you know, for anybody that's listening, you could kind of know what to say and how if a police officer.
It's not
addresses
even
you.
what to
But I
say.
get it too.
No, no,
There's
no.
certain-
You could say anything you want because it's called freedom of speech. You could say you could tell a cop F you. They don't have no right to touch you or anything. It's you didn't touch them. So you could actually say that, but because you say that, they're gonna, you know,
Right,
now
it's more
fuck with
so. Yeah, when I say that, I meant that to say it's more so of what they could, you know, say to you or what they could request to ask from you. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what-
Level of professionalism.
right,
you. Yeah.
And there's also and so shout out to my friend Sam Pierre that had
right. So,
spoke
yeah,
that
the
night.
Haitian,
So yeah,
not the
he is
Haitian.
And then they got,
he is
and then
Haitian.
they
Yes.
got, what the hell? And then they got the cops like Officer Boone that I don't like that try to impress the white cops. Those are the cops I don't
So
like.
that cop was black?
Yes.
Oh, Officer
Boone
Coon.
the coon.
Officer Coon.
Yeah, he was bald head. 6'2". 6'2", bald head.
Wait, that officer was black?
He was black.
Wow.
But,
All right, enough
but,
shame.
but while,
I didn't-
but,
I
while,
didn't-
but yeah,
yeah.
but while we're on this, because I do want to say that although
There's
there
one out
are
in Queens
there
that
are
do that
many
too.
issues. Yeah, well, there are many issues, and we'd be remiss if we wouldn't say that there are issues not only in the NYPD but nationwide. Like law enforcement has been a big issue in dealing with Black and brown communities. But I do want to let everybody know, especially people that are listening, like if you do have an issue with NYPD, there is the CCRB that you can make a complaint to. So it's a civilian complaint
luck.
review board. Have you tried it?
Yes.
What's been your experience? Let's just say it. Has it been positive, negative? Like, has
Did
it
you
anything
contact
been
the
done?
CCMRB?
CCRB.
CCRB.
So you can file to. So what it is? So you can't.
MIB.
So the issue is, and I get that feedback a lot, but I still want people to know that it exists.
It exists.
It does exist because
Probably it would work for you. It didn't work for me.
so what it is administrative. So they will get punitive, like they might get administrative, like punitive reactions or whatever. But they won't get fired. So it's just like they might lose days, they might, something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
But
don't think he
what
lost
you can do,
anything.
really, you did a CCRB for that specific incident.
Yes.
Oh, because I was about to say, I hope you did. Because they would they could do a mediation. So you could do a mediation with the cop. They'll put it in like a safe space, and you and that police officer can speak about why you felt you were wronged and whatever have you. You could do that.
Stuff like
And then
that,
there's like
I don't
administrative.
wanna-
They're gonna
like,
put you
I
in
thought
the
you was
room with
DJ
the cop.
Active, man.
Yeah,
Me
with
personally,
with
I don't wanna
the
speak to
media, but they
nobody.
have to. But it's like
I don't
they
wanna
work to
have
get
a
you both
one-on-one
there.
with no cop like that. There
And
is no one-on-one.
But
Well, but it
also,
starts
but
there.
I
also,
want to.
but I also wanna
You
say-
might pull out a
But
bag
yeah,
of
I do
weed on you
feel-
like I found this before you walked in. This
But that's no,
yours?
because that's terrible. I mean, what he did was definitely unlawful. And what I want to say is like, yeah, we don't, and I want to say we because I don't necessarily have an issue speaking my piece to anybody because again, like what he had mentioned is just like you have to understand that these are your tax-paying dollars, right? And they do have a lot of power, but at the same time, I would use that space to be like, yo, like this is how you really made me feel. And that's it. Like, why are you treating people like this? Like what? And then holding somebody accountable as a human being, like just we're humans at the end of the day,
Mind you,
right? And just having some sort of a conversation.
I was 60 pounds less than I am right now when this happened. So I was
and that's
a
so
non-threat.
unfortunate. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a non-threat now because I'm not threatening.
Yeah,
You
you
know what I'm
definitely
saying?
not threatening.
Yeah.
And in addition to the CCRB, there's also the Right to Know Act that's that just started. I want to say in October of last year. So there are different levels now. It's supposed to be helpful with like the stop and frisk because that was definitely like a quota based. He was trying to make a quota that day, and it was
Facts.
and that's a perfect case of why we have issues with law enforcement. You're like, no, we want to build on community relations. Well, if you keep having police officers like that, it's going to be a very, very long ride because it's.
I expect that from a white officer.
But you
honestly.
shouldn't. That's the problem. That
You know what
should
I'm
not be
saying?
the
You have to
expectation.
take
Yeah,
it
no,
off.
Period.
that-
It
but
should.
that's the mentality that we grew up with. That's
That
what I'm trying to
officer
say.
drank the
You know what I'm
Kool-Aid,
saying? Not only
boy.
for me. That's the mentality that.
So let me ask you a question, Active. If that was a white officer, would you have been quicker to answer his questions and just say, "Sir, I'm just trying to"?
No,
get
I would
to
have
a
answered
gig,"
him the
and
same way
you would've
because
answered
it's
him the
still
same
not.
way?
It's still not his business. It's not your business. I'm not doing anything to you. I didn't do anything to you. You came to me asking me questions that you don't know. You're not supposed to know where I'm going, or you're not my parent. I don't even tell my mom where I'm going sometimes.
Facts.
You
My
know what I'm
mom
saying?
she be getting tight on me too.
Now,
Like-
while I agree with what you're saying, at the same time, I also feel like that we also have a responsibility to not antagonize
Yes.
situations.
Yes, that's true.
But
So-
that's what I said.
But-
I said that though.
right now. But I'm saying in general, not just for you. I'm just speaking in general for anybody that comes in contact with law enforcement. A lot of the time, you see stuff and it just be like,
But how is
you
that
just acting
antagonizing?
like
Right.
this because why?
And
Because
we
it's
already
a
got the
cop
mark
approach.
on the color of our
All
skin.
right. So
You know what I'm saying?
But
if
you just say
a
right,
police officer comes up to you and says, "Where are you going?" That's not actually. And you
Trust
say,
me, I agree with what you're saying. However,
but that ain't antagonizing.
how you answer the question is antagonizing, though.
It's not his business,
It's
bro.
not. I agree with you.
It is. Phresh
However,
is right, bro.
you don't want to
It's how you
antagonize
answer
those
that
type of
question.
So
situations.
it almost sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, like you're halfway blaming him for his situation.
Yeah.
And what sucks is like I kind of agree because like I'm always telling Derek, even it sucks that I have to tell an 11-year-old these type of things, but I'm always telling him if he ever gets in a situation with police, just tell them whatever they want to know. Be as calm and cool as
But that's
possible. I
whack.
talk to my students that way. It sucks that we have to do that. I'm always telling my students because my students are
We
like,
shouldn't have to.
No, I
it
agree with
sucks
you.
that we have to do that, but at the reality of the situation is we know what we're getting ourselves
Right.
into. We know the disadvantage that we have.
Mhm.
So not like
I
I don't
agree,
think like not saying
1000%.
that it's your fault
Yeah.
at all, but we know the
I'm in the
disadvantage that we're
passenger
at.
seat, and the guy's asking me for my driver's license. I'm like, do I have a wheel in front of me?
Yeah.
Well,
They did that
that's
to
how
us
I-
too.
They have to identify.
anybody
Yeah,
know
identify.
the
Yeah, you're supposed to walk
But
by
they're supposed to.
identification.
But still in all,
No,
as
if
I
you-
said,
no. As a
yes,
cop,
No,
they
you're
have
supposed
to
to-
identify everyone in the
Yeah.
It's
vehicle.
illegal for you to not
It's
have
illegal
your
for you to
ID
not
on.
have your identification.
no. He said, ask me for my driver's license. I'm like, I don't have my driver's.
Then
Show me
you
your
should've
ID.
said, I
So show
don't
him your
drive.
ID.
Yeah,
Give me
if you
your
want,
ID.
no,
Simple.
yeah, if you want to see my ID, all right, you can see my ID, but don't ask me for my driver's license.
Right, but you see where I'm going with this? That question is gonna only create a negative reaction
Right.
because you being a smart ass.
I'm not being smart.
That was a smart ass response.
No, I'm not being a smart ass, but I'm answering. You're supposed to ask the right question.
So if
What?
So wait, so I want to say, so let's say let's
I
build a
lying?
case story. So the officer just got a call in the radio and said, I'm gonna just say what you have on right now. So there's a black man, white do-rag that just robbed a store. It ain't
Right,
you.
right,
It ain't
right,
you.
right.
But you're walking in the direction. He's just like, hey, where are you going? And you're like, mind your business. It ain't none of your business. He's really just trying to, and this is like, I'm just trying to, paint. I don't
Right,
say
right,
that,
right.
But he's just trying to paint
But
the
then,
character,
after I
right?
say
But if
that-
you're saying mind your business, like then now he's like, all right, now I want to pursue this a little
right,
further
now
now
he's
because
gonna
you
show
kind
you
of.
that he has more power than you, and you
All right.
made a bad
And that's
situation
cool.
worse.
And that's cool. That happened to me
But
too. That
but hold
happened
on.
to
But
me too.
now let's say if you told him, hey officer, I'm just going home. And now he decided to be rude and disrespectful to you. I don't know. And then it's just like, all right. See, like now here's the excessive situations that we're talking
I
about.
feel like
right?
it's gonna happen
Do it-
anyway.
But it doesn't. Yes,
know what
I
you're
want to
saying.
validate. I want to
I know
validate
what
what you're
you're
saying. Yeah, I want to validate what you're saying because the likelihood of it going adversely
Left because he's already
is
aggressive.
probably higher than otherwise. But at the same time, it's just like if we want to be. I don't want to say if we want to be treated respect, we got to treat people with respect, and that's just across the board. But it's easier to hold. It's actually no, that's fake. I can't even say that. It's easier to hold somebody accountable because they're
No.
not being held
All
accountable.
right. If he asks me
So,
where
yeah.
I'm going, I'll be like, well, I don't feel like telling you where I'm going. And then he was like, well, the only reason why I'm asking you is because somebody in your description just, I'll be like, look, I'm going home. I have nothing on me. If you want to search, go ahead.
Yeah, but they don't even have to search you. So like with the right to know, like, and
Yeah,
I would tell everybody to go
that's
look into it.
that's just to get the things going and
Yeah,
I can
to
go
get
home.
yeah, exactly.
But you see, like I said, you don't just like I can't go to a cop and ask him where he's going. Why the hell should he ask me where I'm going?
He might be working on something, or he might be trying
Nah.
to make a quota. It could go either way. Like
I'm
there-
be like, yo, officer,
could go either
what
way.
you doing? What you doing on this corner?
You're gonna be like, what?
But even
Exactly.
if you're in full compliance, because I don't know if you guys heard about the protest going on in Yale right now. There were two officers that they got a call about I think an armed robbery, and they pulled over this car. It was a guy and his girlfriend. So you see the video. They showed the body cam from the cop. The guy is coming out of the car, the driver's seat, with both of his hands up, and both cops started shooting at the car.
Yo.
2 hands up. Both cops started shooting at the car. The girlfriend in the passenger seat ended up getting hit. Like, thank God it's not life-threatening. But even if you come out fully compliant,
crazy.
2 hands up.
Yeah. I just
You're
think
still out of luck.
that's just
They say
a
why
the
they
generational
surviving.
argument.
the likelihood of it going left, from what we've seen, is super high
Yeah.
than otherwise. But
It's gonna
It's
go
just-
left. It
But,
depends on how that cop feel that day. If
or
he's
it depends on that specific cop too.
Right. Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be on that.
There's a
because
lot of different
police,
variables.
because there's
Period.
police officers right now that are like working
I
to
have
try
a
to
lot
change
of
the
cop
system.
friends.
Yeah,
my,
me too.
my cousin is a cop. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And can they make a difference? No, still.
No,
You
can't say that.
I would, yeah, I would.
It's
Because
one.
that
One,
goes.
they can make a difference, and like if they walk into the street, yeah, they can make a difference from right here. But
But that
Period.
difference counts though.
But as you said in the beginning of
This
the
is about to say
episode,
just
we
now.
got to
Right.
do our part.
Exactly. That
Exactly.
difference
That's
counts.
part of that.
And also,
It's,
like,
it's all part of the difference. Like, just because
We
you
need
think this
more.
one
No,
person,
no. You're not
Right, let's not
understanding.
ignore
We
the fact
need
that not
more.
all
Listen,
cops.
I don't
we do
want
need
to
more.
say
I'm saying
You
not
know
all
what I mean?
cops. Yeah,
There's cops out there that really
That
you know,
care,
they're-
yeah.
they're really like.
and
They
I would,
won't
and I'd
get
be
crazy,
remiss to
hold
not
you
say
down.
that because
Right.
overall, yes, there is an issue with law enforcement. Law enforcement is a system. Are there people within that system that do really, with all their
Enables,
heart,
yeah.
want to make change? Are there people within that system that every day, like, they're not even
Yes.
eating anymore because of
3%.
what they're dealing with? It's a larger percentage than that
Right.
but you want to know what it is? There's a small percentage of officers that will sue the department, that are getting retaliated against, and et cetera. And then there's others that hate what they're doing, but they do it anyway because they're like, if I don't do this, then I'm gonna be retaliated against, and then I'm gonna lose my job, and my family's not gonna eat, right? So it's just like these varying. Like, there's some people that's like, I don't care, I'll risk it all.
So,
Like,
Kat, so I don't want to stray away too much because we got to conclude soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to get back to
Nice word.
I want to get back to the question at hand. So, Kez, give me your opinion, then I'll ask Rachel, then I'll go down the table. But Kez, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation, particularly with Lucca?
well, I wanted to read a little excerpt as far as what the cop said. He felt, I guess, threatened by the
That's
the
what
little
they all
boy.
say.
He said he took an aggressive stance toward another officer, bladed his body, and began clenching his fist. And then they pepper sprayed him and pulled him to the ground.
Smashed his forehead to the cement.
Yeah, and then they punched him in the face. It's like a 15-year-old clenching his fist is threatening enough for you
A
to.
big man,
I see him
officer, big.
with a gun, pepper spray, and a taser.
with everything on you. Like, just him clenching his fist gives you the
And
that
mind
much
you, they're-
threat to
and they're-
attack him and
they're
just throw him to the
surrounded by a whole
ground.
bunch
and-
of
Crazy?
kids.
You know what's crazy? You know what that cop thinking? I didn't use my gun though.
That probably is what he's
Be-
thinking.
Because they think like that. Well, I ain't do nothing to my purpose.
At least I didn't use my gun.
At least I didn't use my
But
gun.
it was still excessive force. Like, there's
Right.
no.
No,
he's just saying that's probably
Yeah,
what
no,
the cop
I
was
get the
thinking.
rebuttal.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't use my gun though, so he's all right.
Yeah, but Kez, continue.
Yeah.
That,
Sorry,
was
Kez.
that? were
Nah,
you-
it's cool, but nah, it's really sad. Like, I feel like it's more training that needs to be done
Yes.
as far as within these departments for these officers to. I don't know what kind of training they need to, like, reset the button for everybody, but it's a lot of training that needs to be done because they need to learn how to interact with these children.
I think it was
And
taught
not just
how they
children,
was
just people in
brought up.
general. They need to learn how to interact and learn how to actually kind of see what's going on the scene. Like, if you see a bunch of kids all together, it's not a gang automatically. You know, it's not a gang of kids fighting automatically. But as far as like what I was reading, that's what they were thinking. Like, it was a fight going on, and they came on the scene, and they were automatically coming with their aggressive
The aggression,
attitude.
yes.
I
And
wonder
like,
if-
oh, let's stop these kids, arrest this one, hit this one. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It's little kids, 15, 16-year-old. How you coming with such
I ever
aggression?
wonder, I'm not a cop, but I watch a lot of cop shit. Do they watch Live PD or Chicago PD or Law and Order? You don't see none of that shit on TV?
It's real life,
probably
man. It's real life. Rachel, tell me how you feel.
But it goes back to what you were saying about implicit bias. If that cop really felt like, because we all seen the video, that he took an aggressive stance, like, what was so aggressive about his stance? This little ass boy, you felt
He
like
has
he
to say
took an
that.
aggressive stance. That goes to your implicit bias. Same with the situation I was just talking about with the cop that shot up the car at Yale University. Like, you're automatically assuming homie was coming out with two hands up, but they said he was coming out of the car aggressively. What's aggressive about both hands
Aggressive
up?
is being black.
This is surrender.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what the point is. Like, their implicit bias leads them to believe that
That's why I wanna be
black
fresh and
people are
chase
angry.
complexion.
Like, our complexion is
There you go,
associated with
fucker.
being
get pressed
angry
too, son.
and being aggressive.
You're tall. You're threatening.
You look like a threat.
You got
Tall
a big
with a beard.
But it's like, if you've been oppressed for so many years, why? Yes, I can. Like, yeah, I can be angry. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like,
I know what I wanted
some
to
people
say.
don't
and
understand
angry,
that.
angry doesn't necessarily mean aggressive. It doesn't necessarily mean
I
we're going to
know
show aggression.
What I wanted to say. Do y'all hear about the kid that got, like 25 years to life for attempting to kiss? She was white.
Yes. We're going to
What?
speak about
In
that in
recent
another
time?
episode. Yeah. We're going to speak about, because that was a case I was
That's
looking at.
crazy. A
But,
black kid.
yeah.
I mean, it was a.
We gonna have an
We're
episode
gonna
about
get into
that.
it in
You
another
guys- yeah,
Yeah, we're
episode
gonna get into
after.
that. Yeah. Because we got to,
I
I
didn't.
wanna hear
we're running
more
short
about
on
that.
time. But yeah,
I
we're
just
going to
think
take
that was
after.
crazy. Sorry, I just
But
want to.
we're going to get into that. Phresh, I want to hear what you got to say, then Chase, and we're going to conclude.
Well, I mean, obviously that was clearly excessive force. I feel like
Unnecessary.
What?
Unnecessary.
Active on
It
a
was
road.
nothing wrong with what he said.
Excessive force. What do you
No, it was unnecessary.
Oh, he's agreeing with you. Okay.
excessive force? But okay.
Continue, my man.
Damn. So yeah, clearly that was excessive, especially even if you said he clenched his fist or whatever. After you pepper sprayed him, that was enough. Like all of the extra y'all was like 3-4 big grown men on this little kid back, smashing his head in the ground, punching him. His hands was already behind his back. Y'all were all on top of him already. He can't go nowhere. You pepper sprayed him.
That shit was
Like-
hard to watch.
Yeah, it was,
I don't
yes.
understand
I didn't even
what
watch it.
It was
what
bad.
it.
I
I
had
watched
to
it for the
watch
first time for this episode.
That's why I read.
Am
I
I
wanted to
gonna
read up
finish?
on that to see
Sorry.
what was the
I
aggression.
read
Am I gonna finish? Active. Stop leading the interruption.
Yeah, he's
charge,
the number one.
bro.
He's interruption.
You always
I
gotta.
said I didn't see the video. I didn't interrupt.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, Phresh.
Jesus, peace, boy. I tell
I'm
you.
dark skinned
son.
for a reason, bro.
Come on.
I'm
son.
aggressive.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
What?
but I feel like
Yo.
definitely more training. I think I agree with Keds on that, but I feel like it can't just be just a training course. I feel like they should have to recertify their community-based training, like
That's what's like
every
a
certain
reset,
amount of
like-
time or something like that. Because I don't feel like you could just have these sorts of things happening as often as they do, and there's
Nothing's
no
being
one
done.
going back
Yeah.
and looking at like, well, how can we address the behavior on a repetitive scale? Not
Black
just
Lives
have like
Matter.
one meeting here and then you think that that's it.
That's
Like
it, yeah.
everybody, every officer should have to recertify their, like the same way they got to go to the gun range every so often and requalify their weapon. They should have to requalify their
Listen,
community-based.
certain jobs for certain
Policing.
licenses and certifications, you got to
Right.
recertify every 2 years or 1 year,
Exactly.
whatever
So
it
I
is.
feel like something like that should definitely be in play for.
And
for
I don't
law
know if they
enforcement
do
as well.
the psych eval over and over again too, but I feel like that's something that they need to recertify and do over the psych
I mean, you could pass it. That don't mean,
Yeah,
And that's what
that's the fucked up part is that you could just give
Yeah,
a politically correct
but
answer, and
at least
what
it's
it is.
being done though. At least at that point.
But
you
then that's
could
not
say,
intentional, though. You get what I'm saying? Because
Which is what I was saying.
Because they
earlier.
are being trained. So for us to say like NYPD is not being trained, yeah, they have trainings. They have implicit bias trainings. I'm in meetings all the time where they
they
are
could do
being trained, right?
do the right thing, say
It's,
the right
I'm telling you,
thing.
some situations I think it's
But-
As soon
subconscious.
as they get in that field,
hmm
it's pressure.
They feel
There's
intimidated.
pressure. Yeah,
with
there is pressure, but also, yes, there is pressure, but also there's a lot. Again, it's a system. So yeah, maybe you went on this training, but are you really changing the individual? If somebody's just not a good person, they're just not going to be a good person, right? But or maybe somebody will be like, okay, maybe I'll be different in community now. We do this, but at the same time, it's just like it has to be done with intention. Who is leading the training? So they did it really, and I know we're low on time, but there was a training that it was piloted in Bed-Stuy. I thought it was pretty interesting, where a community-based organization actually trained the officers on like the cultural norms of a community, and I thought that was really dope. Like cultural norms, what people really feel, what they believe, and I thought that was really interesting. So that was piloted in
That's what we
Bed-Stuy.
need.
So it's just like instead of like just having somebody from within like teach your own, like have an actual community-based organization to come and actually
We need more
train.
of
And I feel like
So I
them
thought that was
doing
dope.
that in
I'm not gonna
Bed-Stuy at this point right now is only because it's being gentrified.
Yeah.
You got to do that somewhere where it's
Well,
like.
The
no. So I would
Wait,
have
wait,
to
wait.
slight rebuttal. So slight rebuttal only because that precinct actually has really high levels of crime. It is.
That doesn't mean that it's not
so
being gentrified.
It is still being gentrified, but all of Brooklyn is, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Wait, where does this with the kid? Where did he get
That was in
hurt?
Florida. It was in Florida.
Florida.
Broward.
All right.
Broward County.
Nah, that's another thing.
Real quick, actor, because I want to get to Chase and we got
Florida is racist as fuck.
Yep.
That's
Laws-
another
That's
thing.
a state. You
I mean,
Broward County
the-
is rough as shit.
I mean, there's a flag. It's a Confederate flag. Like
They ride around with pickup trucks with Confederate flags on the
Well,
back
yeah, since you're already
window.
speaking, go ahead and let me hear what you say. What you got to say
Down
about the
south is
situation.
very different. I have
It
family
depends
that
on where
work
you
in
at.
Sunrise for their law enforcement department. And yeah, Sunrise is a little bit easier because it's an older community and things like that. But when you move over close to the beach, like Hollywood area and all that, that shit changes.
facts.
It gets rough.
will
Them
shoot
hoods
you.
out there, that little 15-year-old kid, granted, that was excessive force. But them 15-year-olds out there, it's easier to get guns out there.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm not a cop, but if I was law enforcement in that situation and I see a group of kids gathering,
You automatically
together
gonna be
fighting,
timid.
not necessarily, but you are gonna have your mind is gonna be like, yo, this shit can go really bad because one, up in New York, they ride around 2 in a car. Down in Florida, it's 1 cop.
So
And they drive that car home
I
every
feel
day.
like I feel
They don't ride around in twos.
But what you're saying right now, I feel like you're trying to like agree of why.
I'm not agreeing why the cop did what he did.
He's trying to bring
but
a
you gotta
bigger,
look in a different light too.
a bigger
You know what I'm saying?
spectrum of
Yeah,
That
things.
was, I
playing
did
devil's
say that
advocate.
was excessive force. That's OD. There's no reason why you should be slamming anybody's head into concrete.
Yeah.
You pepper sprayed him already. Pepper spray for a cop in the street and pepper spray for COs in jail is two different pepper sprays. The one outside is much stronger than the one in the cells. So once you spray it in the air,
It just goes up.
that OC is different. You're gonna feel that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna stop doing what you're doing. So you did that, and then you still slammed them in the concrete. You're ODing.
Yeah,
But also down there, they're still racist.
yeah.
That's a
I
fact.
mean, they're racist everywhere.
They are, yeah. But
But
down
I-
south, period.
I'm
But
not.
it's high.
Down
I
south, period.
yeah, I
it's
can't
more-
agree with Chase because I did see, like, as I was looking up this story, I did run into, like, this happens in Broward County a lot.
Broward
Like,
is
in
not
terms
easy.
of it's a
Miami-Dade
targeted,
County is
yeah.
not
It's
easy.
by
It's-
Miami pretty much. Yeah, I
that
hear
is-
that it happens
that's
a
Dade
lot.
County.
But we gotta
and
we gotta
like I
wrap up.
said, I feel like the training it needs to be done like in those type of places. You know what I'm saying, like Florida and stuff like that, and our Kansas
does,
and
but
shit like that.
It needs
they
to be
don't
done
have
everywhere.
They don't have the
Yeah.
resources that we have as New
Yeah,
New
we
York.
have
Because New York, we just got money coming in
the
from
most money.
MTA hike fares and all types of shit. Out there is different.
Mad
I mean,
tolls.
Arizona, 19
like something like that
$19 now.
in New York.
$19?
Does it happen a lot?
I ain't
We gonna
never
have
going-
another
I ain't
episode. We
never
speak
going
about
to
certain
Staten
things.
Island.
Not
Certain
I
prices.
wouldn't
Not
say
as
it happens
much?
as, I mean, that we know about. But do I think it happened? I do feel as many issues as there are with law enforcement. It's interesting because nationally, NYPD is looked at as a best practice in a sense, in many different ways, because they do work very different, and they have a lot of resources. So when you're looking at, like, there'll be other smaller counties and precincts or whatever it is, different. Police departments, and they're super small. So like you'll do like little small places in Pennsylvania, whatever, and they're like doing good work,
Bro.
but they're like under resourced.
We have
or
a
they don't have that
task
many
force
people.
that goes around looking for police plaques for people for cops parking in wrong spots.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Come on, we waste the money on that.
Yeah.
but it's also like not being wasteful of city resources. Also, so it's just being able to follow that. Do
But
other
if we
states
can
have
do
that? We don't know.
they can't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can't even pay to have a large precinct population, officer population.
Yeah,
Right,
this was a good
right.
convo. There's definitely a lot of jewels and things you could take from this conversation that we had. There's a lot of ways you could give back to your community. So for those that are listening and watching, I hope you take that with you. We made a bunch of resources available to you. We have two wonderful ladies here, our two special guests. They
Great.
have two different
Yeah. Follow us on
organizations
Instagram, check
that
our website.
right. Give a big
They
bomb
came with
for
some good
that.
content.
Yeah, and
Definitely
they are both acting
Doing
as
great things in the
public
community.
services to the community.
Should we say
They're
our
doing-
websites and our handles in case they want to?
Yeah, I know. We're gonna do that.
Okay. Cool.
Right now, actually. So
Okay.
Haley, go ahead. Shout out your
Oh,
Instagram.
she had a
Haley's
Joe moment
focused.
just
Shout
now.
out your Instagram
She
for
had a Joe
Civically
moment just now.
Engaged.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so you can all follow me, Civically Engaged Inc. So Civically Engaged INC on Instagram. You can also follow me, Haley_N_. That's HAILEY Instagram. And also getcivicallyengaged.org is our website.
Yes.
Bomb.
So shout out one time to Haley for that. And our next special guest here, we got Miss Rachie B. So Rachie, let them know your Instagram, your personal Instagram, and then also your your organization Instagram and whatnot.
All right, my personal Instagram, XOXO_Rachie B. You can follow me there, or you can follow With Love. We are at With Love Events NYC, and you can get all the info about our upcoming fundraising event in our bio. And hope to see you guys there.
May 11th.
May
at Elite
11th.
Space.
Elite
Yeah.
Space,
Tickets $35.
35. Lance
You
got his
gotta
for
be
$25.
$50 for that open
VIP is
bar.
50.
VIP open bar.
All right, so y'all will see the whole crew, Stoop Talk Podcast, will be in the building supporting. And whatever Haley does, I'm usually there. So hopefully I can bring
All
everybody
right,
else with
so
me.
we're just gonna get it out the
So,
way.
yeah.
I'm DJ After 24/7.
Keds, go ahead.
K3BZ, follow me. What's up?
Yeah. Phresh, go ahead.
Today I'm not fresh. Today I'm Christoph Christian.
Her.
Today you gotta go follow Christoph Christian. That's CHRIT. Oh my bad.
Yeah, CHRISTOFF.
Damn, everybody out here.
CHRISTIAN. Get it right. Let's go.
Shout out to Keds for the follow through. All right, Chase, go ahead. What's
He
your
had a
Instagram?
Lance
Big homie?
moment just now.
King
rubbing
Chase
off.
It's
718.
the the Henny.
We'll say it again. I didn't.
King Chase 718.
All
Let's
right.
go, Chase.
All right, DJ Active.
Was
Now
that
you
a
say it.
stupid or dumb
Already.
moment?
Who? For
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
nah,
a
he-
Henny moment.
All right, we gotta
I'm
continue.
never
Nah, that was
stupid
the
or
Lance
dumb.
moment.
Say it Instagram. bro.
Acting
I
white.
did it.
No, say it
I said
again.
No.
Damn, Joe.
No, Joe.
Yo, we out.
Okay.
Wrap
Anyways,
it up.
listen. My Instagram handle is Lance BCE.
Correction, Joe BCE.
Lance BC on Instagram. And don't forget to follow Stoop Talk Podcast. We are on Instagram and Facebook's as well, and Facebook. And in closing, if you guys have any topics or, sponsorship opportunities, you want to reach out, you want to collaborate or whatever the case
Even
may
if
be.
you have a stoop breaker.
Yeah, even if you have a stoop breaker, whatever it is, just hit us up, contact us at inquiries@stooptalkpodcast.com, all right? Inquiries@stooptalkpodcast.com. All right, and we are signing out. We'll see you back next week, Monday. And it's Rizat. Peace.